Hello, Twitch.
I'm live as
I
well.
win.
How's it going?
What?
Hello, Christo's Twitch.
Yeah, but I was live first, so.
Oh boy.
I don't know. I think I was live first.
They're coming for us.
Classic.
Well,
As soon as he goes live.
Found Cristo. It's too late.
So,
Alright.
what are we playing today? I've had this game for a while, and
It's great.
I've seen
It's
Let's
good. It
Plays,
is good.
but I don't know how to play it. Let's find out.
It's
What have you guys
great.
called your stream?
I've called it Let's Play Subnautica Saturday Chat Show.
Let's play.
Yeah. very
Smack,
inventive.
smack.
Alright, are we, well, we need to wait for you guys to be ready because we need to hit play at the same time. So
Oh, I've already
credits.
hit play.
He's
It's-
already hit play.
Let's do
Oh,
this.
wow.
Pause. Alright, pause.
Sorry, it's
pause
fine.
and
It's fine. Like,
Yeah,
you just spent like 3 hours swimming
No,
around the
guys.
circle anyway. It's okay.
Exactly.
we should play hardcore mode.
Oh
No,
no,
no.
I'm playing on
You
the.
want to play hardcore? Then people are just gonna get knocked out, and then they're gonna be like, "What am I doing?"
Yeah. I don't want to
He's
die of
restart.
thirst.
Restart
Veto-
it's
veto
battle.
hardcore mode.
It's battle royale Subnautica. It's last man standing.
It's too
I don't
punishing
know.
for people that have never played the game.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure this will be fine.
Yeah,
Stream.
it will be.
Go.
Go stream. I have fabricators. Status.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm okay.
All right, so Christo, from Streamlabs OBS.
Yeah.
If the stream name I set on Twitch desktop is different to the one it's given me as default in the OBS, which one will it use? Will it replace
the
it
one
when
you
I
use
hit
in
go live?
OBS. Yeah.
Alright, okay.
How loud are they compared to me, by the way, chat? Who is all here today? Yes, so introductions.
Yes.
If you're using you should use this multi-Twitch link, which I'm putting in chat.
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear my keyboard, by the way?
An embedded
fine.
version, the first persistence to refresh the
I
page.
can. I don't know if you guys can hear it.
I'm very good at this. I already used the
don't
first
know.
aid kit for no reason.
But we're playing with, if you're using the multi-Twitch, we're playing top left is Chew, top right is Colonel, bottom left is Addaway, and bottom right is me.
Is there a link for the multi Twitch?
Yes, it's in.
I put it
it's
in the Discord, but
okay.
also
I
I
there
can
we
like
go.
put it in my chat or something if it depends on where you are.
I've put it in the Discord again.
I've never seen this multi Twitch thing ever before in my life.
Really?
Yeah, it's
good.
pretty popular with like talk shows and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which
I am
everyone's
at press
perspective.
any button to continue. Oh fuck!
Oh, I think I loaded it.
And then because I hit Alt, it started the game.
Intro time, baby.
I'm already being damaged by fish that are mines. So this is good news.
So, Addaway, you've played this before.
I played it in January for like a bit and didn't get very far, but yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm collecting acid mushrooms, so I think I'm as far as I need to be. Right?
Yeah.
It's
You're
good.
gonna get a nice high going on. You're gonna be buzzed. You're gonna swim around with the crazy fish. It's gonna be
I'm
great.
assuming you have.
I have finished this game, yes.
Oh, that's what that is. You have finished this
Finished
game.
the game, but I've gotten like
I
mid
finished this
game.
game.
Huh.
Oh, I really don't like the intro, though. Oh,
You can just hold escape.
Survival,
whack
wouldn't it?
in the head.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, okay. I thought I was talking to myself then, but I
You
thought my
didn't say
internet.
anything interesting enough to reply to, really.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
I forgot this game was a bit laggy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
It's a little bit-
low.
Mine
Choppy.
isn't. I've heard this, but mine isn't.
Mine
So,
isn't either.
I think you guys just need to get good.
No, I think it's just
Yeah.
my 4-year-old graphics card.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Mm-hmm. Well, they haven't. We could talk about it today, actually. They haven't really improved graphics card in the last 4 years, to be honest. If you have,
Well, I mean, between the 980 and the 1080, there's a massive jump.
oh, you have a 980. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. But if you had the 980
I have a
Ti,
nice-
that's
No, I don't have the TI.
the 1080
Who I
though.
look like fucking
that's more-
Scrooge McDuck over here.
That's more. The 1080 is more of a 4K graphics card. It also depends on your resolution, of course.
Is it though? I've seen like the benches that I've seen have not shown it to be. Oh, we have flares now.
Well,
I've never
the
seen
newer
flares.
I
games
still
are.
haven't loaded into the game.
Yeah, it takes a while, to be fair. Mine took a minute and a half.
Anyone in my
I mean, if
chat,
you
I
guys
can't
want,
see you at
I
the
can-
moment because I can't see the chat.
Let me
I can't,
check.
I can't move my cursor.
Don't
to
worry,
my
there's
second
no one
screen
there.
to... Yeah, it's fine then.
So much water. So much, yeah, but like newer games, of course, they're gonna struggle, but it's sort of a complicated thing because they also cost so much more money. Even the 1080s cost, but like the new generation is ridiculous. It's not.
Yeah, no, that's just insane. The 1080s are actually getting pretty cheap now, but I'm waiting a minute because I think that they're gonna get much cheaper very soon.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to drop to about 350.
Yeah.
To 300, and then get something equivalent to that. What I'd prefer is yeah, go ahead.
To give a, I mean, yeah, like nerd talk, great. So the, but just briefly to cover what the heck's going on. Like, this is an exploration game. You swim around and you find resources and craft stuff, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
survival game.
Resume.
With the geekness, come on.
Yeah, my question was going to be, have any of you gotten a chance to try, what do they call it when you link the two graphics cards? I can't remember now.
Yeah, SLI.
SLI.
Or
SLI.
Crossfire.
Have either of you tried that recently?
Ow, 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 ow,
I
ow.
have never tried that.
No, never tried. It's getting worse and worse. It used to be... So basically...
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, it's basically you have, instead of one single graphics card in your system, you have two or more.
Yeah.
And it used to sort of allow you to get double the performance, but not quite as much, like 80% more performance than with a single graphics card.
Hello, Resness.
The problem with that these days is that developers themselves are not really focusing on that too much, so SLI sometimes is even worse than... I mean, having two graphics cards is even worse than having one. Like GTA 5, for example, for a while, I hear didn't work well with SLI, so you had to only run on a single card. It's, yeah.
Right.
You little shit. Up in my face.
The good thing is that graphics cards now consume a whole lot less power than they used to, so it's a little bit easier.
Okay.
Right. He's in game.
Yeah, I was trying to adjust the windows so I could see Twitch chat, and I've done it now, so it's okay.
Welcome to the world of Subnautica.
Right,
I've landed in a different place. I usually land over there.
I need silicone rubber. Silicone rubber.
I need to leave the escape.
Do you know where to get it?
I need creep vine clusters for that. Let's find some.
Yeah.
Yay! Water.
What's that to make again? Oh, I'm gonna make some cooked food first.
I think
Is
it's to
there a
make
pet
the
or something?
knife and...
You make a bunch of stuff
like
out of it
your
later.
flippers
But...
and shit, yeah.
Yeah. So how's your week? How'd everyone find this marvelous week?
Oh, it's been alright. It's
Why am I graphics?
a little busy at the shop. Haven't been able to stream because I've just been exhausted after work, but other than that, it's been fine.
Cool. It's not photorealistic. Addaway.
It's not?
No, mine were they were worse than they were when I played this game before. I've just changed them. They were on medium for some reason.
Gross.
It's fine. Right.
I found that seed
Oh.
cluster. What are you doing now? Oh, you got landmine fish. After you.
I went straight down, and I've been hit by two of the caves. There's three of them now. Jesus Christ.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm nearly dead.
Oh boy. That's why you don't go and play this on survival. I'm playing on the freedom one or whatever. Freedom.
What?
Oh, you're playing on
You can't play on freedom.
Win.
I'm not gonna win. I don't even have a knife. I don't know how to win.
This guy.
I'm playing on freedom because I don't know better.
This guy.
Right.
The game still does look beautiful. I really like it.
Yeah, it does look pretty
Yeah,
good.
That's
no,
really
it looks
nice.
great.
Yeah.
I don't even know where the fabricator is. There you are. I can make now the silicone rubber.
I need to cook some fish, or I'm gonna die.
Or lubricant.
Oh, we got a survival knife. Cool. Hello.
You already have
Amazing.
see? It's fine. You already have the
I
knife.
need one of those. Don't kill me. I need your cave sulfur.
Oh, he's coming for me.
Everyone was complaining that, like, oh, it's so incredibly difficult to find cave sulfur. The game's so
idiot.
unclear. It's an exploration game, my dude.
Yep.
Just
No, I do
explore.
really love that about it. That it doesn't actually help you out. It just actually like
Yeah.
get on with it. It's really good.
And there's
Right,
also
let's try again.
and Alexa is also saying things about things, and I can't really hear her because you guys are talking over her.
She's basically just giving you lore. It's not.
Oy vey, no stream ping. Oh, I forgot. I'll do it now.
Oh, at least I can get some cave sulfur easily. Because I set like 5 cave things off at once. I can now get loads of cave sulfur really easy.
So Addaway wants us to race.
No.
What are we racing to?
Well, I mean, not like competitive racing, but like we are by definition racing, aren't we?
Ooh, talking about racing.
Because we all started at the same time.
Well, I mean, Chew's playing on friggin' survival.
Yeah, I'm playing on survival.
I mean, Addaway's
hardcore?
Oh, yeah.
Colonel's playing on.
I am, because I'm still trying to figure out how to do things. I would be dying of thirst already.
Yeah, that's the point.
That's the die of thirst. I'm dying of other things, though. I got blown up by a fish mine.
Everyone dies of thirst at least once. It's a rite of passage. Where did I go last time?
Alright, so I need to explore around. It's funny, first time I played this game, I think I just kind of swam around for like an hour, just in the immediate surrounding of my whatever you call it. I think I might be a bit more purposeful this time.
The little pod?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Happy
no,
weekend.
I mean,
thank you.
Honestly, it's such a nice area. Like, it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
To just explore for a while.
Just bum around. Yeah, so Dr. Subnautica is now watching my stream.
Oh, that's
very appropriate.
Good.
Oh, it's one of those things.
So apparently all the acid mushrooms that I picked up and then proceeded to throw away, they're used for batteries.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's interesting, because I know that car batteries, some car batteries anyway, have acid in them.
All batteries.
Yeah.
I think some don't though.
No, all batteries have acid.
Well, I mean, like a water battery doesn't, but.
All right, all batteries basically function.
Traditional battery.
Okay.
But like, yeah.
The kind of battery where you like store water at the top of a hill and then run it down through a turbine. Sure, that doesn't use that. But if it's a cell, more or less, it's a battery. Yeah.
So do we have a cooker in here or something?
Yeah, use the
fabricator.
Oh, it's the fabricator. It does everything. Okay.
Yeah, you just feed it fish and it gives you food.
Mushrooms.
Gotcha.
Didn't actually collect those acid mushrooms. I should do that.
So, Cristo, I assume is Santos in your chat? I assume he is. Yes. So I let him know that.
No, I haven't seen him yet. Actually,
he's not. Okay, I've got basically I sent messages to my girlfriend of when he says he loves me, and she says jog on to Santos. So I'm gonna let him know.
Thank you for the bits, Evil Jester Robot. Thank you very much.
I don't remember what creep vine is for.
Making lubricant and silicon.
Mm-hmm.
No. The like actual vine itself when you cut it.
You can make. There's definitely something. I can remember it being useful, but I can't remember what it's for.
I remember cutting it, but I don't remember what for.
I do, but it's end game.
Fiber mesh.
I think.
That's it.
Oh no, I'm talking rubbish.
It's not in game.
Fiber mesh rings a bell.
Not in game, no.
I'm just sort of looking.
Why is it?
I still don't know what fiber mesh is for, but
whenever I want a water fish, I can never find one.
The bladderfish thing. Oh no,
this game is rigged.
Oh, first aid kits. Okay.
There he is.
Yeah.
Then you see one, and there's always like 4 more right next to them.
So I need a flashlight for this.
Apparently I'm wrong. Lithium-ion batteries don't have acid.
See, I knew there was something up with that.
Well, they have lithium, I imagine.
And ions. Because of...
Well, I mean, it's kind of implied with the lithium, but sure. We could get a little pedantic.
It's ions of lithium, I guess. I suppose that would be the...
Well, lithium, just normal lithium is an ion, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I don't know, man. I'm not a scientist.
Isn't an ion a atom that has lost electrons?
No.
Or is a bit of the atom or the ion?
No, an ion is just a isn't an ion an atom without stable electron count? So anything other than 8 or 2.
Oh, so it could be more ion or more electrons than normal.
Yeah, could be.
Well, there's not the normal. There are some that would be by default that way. How do you drop stuff?
Right click, I think.
No. Just drop it onto the ground.
Oh.
So, when I first played this game, one thing I did was when I picked all this titanium ore up, I made it all into titanium ingots, thinking it was like just an easy way to store the thing.
Yeah, it's
like,
actually just
it had
useless.
like so much of it. It was completely useless.
What do you...
I wish you could go to war with the poison manatees.
Oh, you can.
Like harvest their carcasses or something.
The poison manatees.
Why?
Yeah,
They're
you'll
not
find
that
them. They're like
Why are you being mean to the poison manatees?
How do you get rubber?
An iron's an atom with more electrons or fewer than its normal state. I'm wrong again.
We're learning. We're learning. It's good to be wrong.
We're learning.
Where do I get rubber from again, guys?
It's the vines, I think.
Oh, is it?
Maybe not, but I mean, I got silicone rubber, so I don't know if that's the same thing.
I want that to make the fins.
Now I need a scanner. So I need some titanium.
My game
Really dark.
decided that it doesn't want... It crashed? Or it might have been my computer that crashed. I'm still here, though. Don't worry. Yeah, I think it's my computer that crashed. Oh, no. Wait a minute. Yes, I'm still here, but they are gone. Because of... Yeah, okay. So we're going to be here for a little while, guys. I dropped out of the conversation because my computer crashed. I cannot see chat right now. Also, I don't know if I saved. I don't know how that works. I do know that the computer crashed, and I'll be back in a little bit in the conversation as well. So if you'll hang in there with me. Oh boy. I don't know what it is. I think it's I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. So let's join the conversation again. Let's also open hardware info so I can monitor temperatures and things, because I think it might be overheating related. Hello. The computer crashed. Yes. I'm still live because I have I have another computer doing that. But the chat went away. No, I mean you guys went away. Yeah, look with a capture card. That's really good. Yeah. Cuz it just frees up. Yeah. Oh, we were talking about that. I guess I can go live over here. We were talking about that before we went on air about the new ones. Do you wanna introduce us to the new generation of Intel CPUs? A third refresh, I would say. Yeah. It does have 8 CPUs, or 8 cores rather. Yeah, but that's if you buy the new i9, which is extremely expensive.
500's not too bad.
That's pretty expensive.
It's not?
It's expensive, but I wouldn't call it extremely expensive.
I mean, all right.
The thing is, like, I recently bought myself a new AMD CPU, 2700X. That's 8 cores as well.
Yeah.
And in comparison to the old one, to the old Intel CPU, the 8700K, it's not as good if you're playing with a very top-of-the-line graphics card on low resolution, but everywhere else is basically the same sort of performance.
If I can.
But the thing is, Hemmings and Feldred, the thing is, if the thing is, I got like 32 gigs of RAM.
What's the freaking thing, Colonel?
I got 32 gigs of RAM, right? And if I had paid the extra money that I had paid for the CPU, I'd have a lot more trouble paying for the extra RAM. And
sure,
I need the RAM. I need the RAM for rendering, of course.
Yeah.
But if you're so it's a balance, and I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. Do you prefer the improvement of the i9 over the 2700X?
So here's the deal. I don't do a ton of rendering because I really don't have the time. I really enjoy making videos, but like I just don't have the time to do it, unfortunately. My whole thing is I would like to be able to stream and sometimes not have to boot up my other PC to stream. And doing that on my PC right now is mostly a CPU bound operation.
Yeah.
So I would prefer to get the really nice new one that, you know, I mean, it boosts up to 5 gigahertz, right?
Yeah.
Like unoverclocked. That way I don't have to worry about that for a long time. I can use my CPU to render, which means my graphics card is no longer going to be used to render, which gives me like more headroom in video games. So like that's kind of my plan.
Yeah, that's
eventually like if I could buy a new graphics card and all of that and like get all the other side stuff, I probably wouldn't be looking at the i9, but the way it is, the i9 is kind of the core of the system for me.
Yeah. The thing that really surprised me actually with the new generation, they used to have the i7s be the multi-threaded ones where you get double the threads as you get the cores, so it's just a little bit better for multitasking. And now the i7 doesn't have that, so I think it's going to be a downgrade. For I haven't looked at the new benchmarks for rendering because I don't think there are new benchmarks for rendering. But I think if you're doing like rendering work or even just encoding for videos and all that sort of stuff, I don't know that the new i7 is going to be an upgrade. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a downgrade in that regard. With the 8 cores.
It could be.
Yeah. So you definitely like I guess the i9 is definitely worth it for streaming because the threads really make a huge difference.
Yes.
Yeah. So like you want that for sure. But the
Not
i7.
Only that, but if I do go back to making videos and stuff, having the higher clock speed with the large amount of cores and threads is going to help a lot too, because rendering will be vastly improved.
Yeah. And it's also Intel, which I don't know what software you use, but if it's Adobe, they optimize a little bit. Like to the point.
This is the thing for me with Adobe is that I was thinking about because I'm getting a new PC like in the next week or two. Because for me, the main thing is After Effects and Premiere. I want to get an AMD, but it seems to me that everything I read says that they just don't work as well with Adobe software.
They don't work as well if you're comparing core for core. But the 8-core AMD works from the benchmarks I saw, works about on par with the 6-core Intel. So core for core, yeah. So the thing is, it's just like the new ones are gonna be better for sure because
it's way cheaper as well, the AMD processor.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, if you're bound for money, yeah. Because for rendering, the RAM is definitely important. I had 16 before, although I did also have an i5, like a 4th generation, I think, i5, and 16 gigs of RAM, which I thought when I bought the computer was overkill. 16 is not enough, even at 1080p. Even at 1080p, which is what I'm rendering at.
I'm running 16 gigs right now. It's pretty terrible. I plan on jumping to 32, and then hopefully there's a lot of reports saying that RAM prices should go down next year. Maybe I'll get up to 64 or whatever later on.
They're already going a little. I think they're already going down.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. But there have been reports saying that like there's pretty slow sales in phones and stuff. So like we could be looking at a 10 to 15% drop in prices.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, which would be great.
It would, because it's really expensive. I bought my 32 for I think 380 euros. My 32 gigs.
I mean, like I could easily spend more money on RAM than
anything
my CPU.
else. Yeah.
It's just insane.
I did when I bought my computer. So yeah, it's like the RAM for me was also sort of a surprise, really, because I've always had this notion that that RAM is only needed. Like when I say it's a surprise when I started rendering. I mean, the RAM was only needed like if you either had, well, I mean, the games would consume a little bit of RAM, but if you optimize your computer and all this sort of stuff, then you'd be okay with RAM and all that. But that's just not the case, because like Windows 10 in particular, with the more RAM you get, the more RAM it eats up.
Yeah, it loves to steal as much as possible.
Yeah,
it's very annoying.
And browsers these days also. I grew up. I say I grew up, but I guess from 2004 onwards, using Firefox, which for a while was a little bit RAM hungry, but it was never anywhere close.
It was never terrible.
Yeah, not anywhere close to Chrome. And then they.
Oh god, Chrome is horrific.
Yeah,
I've noticed it recently. It's just so much RAM.
Yeah.
And then, but now Firefox does the same because
Very true.
They changed the structure of the browser itself. And
well, you know, it's your fault for developing websites that require that sort of RAM usage. All right, how about that?
I don't know. I don't know if it is.
I mean, like, if you look at like a lot of websites these days, they use such intensive JavaScript and all of that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really faulting them for increasing the RAM requirements.
I mean, they're just making the product that people need, right?
Yeah, for sure. But like, it surprised me to the point where I remember, like in 2011, I bought a computer, a laptop that had only 1 gig, and it worked for. I mean, it didn't game. I mean, it played Fallout 1, but that's that. And it worked reasonably well. I had Windows 7 using less than 200 megabyte of RAM, which was kind of a feat because I disabled most of the services. But it worked.
That is pretty wild, yeah.
Yeah, but it worked well, and you know that's all that matters as long as it works. But these days, RAM is just everybody needs it.
Yeah.
If you, 8, like I look most of the pre-mades. And most of them come with 8 because otherwise their price just skyrockets.
Yeah, I don't understand how people can be using 8.
And they have like
I have 8 still. I bought my PC like.
And you do all those videos
on 8 gigabytes of RAM. Yeah.
My God.
I mean, depends on the games, of course. But
no. He renders like graphics, like graphical historical videos.
The video I made 2 weeks ago, when I rendered it, it took 5.5 hours to render.
Yeah.
And it crashed twice.
Oh no.
It was horrific.
Yeah. That is horrific.
Hence why I want to upgrade right now.
Yeah. Have any of you played Assassin's Creed Odyssey?
No, obviously you have been though.
It's quite. I think it's worth. It's exactly what I was told. It's worth giving Assassin's Creed another go for this game. I think. If you want.
Really?
Yeah. It's the combat's quite fun. The stealth is quite cool.
Odyssey's the new one, right? Not the last one.
It's the new one.
Yeah, it's the new one.
I think it's good fun.
Can we talk about microtransactions while we're in the subject?
So what I've heard and what I think seems true so far is the XP boost one is the most insidious, because basically if you don't want to play, you're right there, Addaway.
Yeah. I hate the little red cave things. I hate them so much.
They're so easy to avoid. If you
they're not. They're so irritating.
If you don't want to do lots of side questing and stuff, then you basically won't hit the level limits for some missions.
I'm dead.
Yes, I'm not alone in the death.
Is there a way to break down titanium ingots?
No,
because I have too much titanium, so I'm making ingots.
Hey, Travel Bar.
Don't make ingots.
Don't make ingots.
Just make a container. You can make containers. It's the bottom.
This is the thing about.
They only have like 4 spaces or something stupid like that.
No, they have like 10
need to get
the builder. Not the ones that I can build. I can only make the waterproof locker.
Yeah, that has more than 4 spaces.
And then do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't like Subnautica's management system. It's so cack-handed.
It's not very good.
Like
there is a mod that it's fun.
Well, yeah, but mods are mods. But you know.
Yeah, the base game inventory is not.
There should be some way to get to compress titanium into like.
Yeah, well, it's just Minecraft. I mean, the inventory sorting in is just Minecraft, basically.
Let's not forget about the experience things. What were you saying?
Yeah, so on Assassin's Creed Odyssey, if you play just the main story and nothing else, then you will reach a point where the game forces you to either do side quests to get levels up, or buy a XP boost, which will mean you gain enough XP from just the main story that you will level up fast enough from that. So for those people that like mainlining their story in an open-worlded game, apparently such people exist, then they'll get kind of screwed by it because they don't they'll be required to either change their playstyle or fork money. Addaway, are you dying again?
So it's good that you mentioned that, because that's actually what I wanted to get at. So here's this perspective. So what you're saying is you can pay money to sort of level up a little bit faster, or twice as fast.
You can get 50% faster.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. That's not even twice as fast. Which is what, for example, World of Tanks has, I think, if you pay money.
Yeah. The difference is the game will just stop you progressing in the main story, basically.
Yeah. Travavar is asking in chat if we're playing together. We're playing separately. We're just chatting together about Assassin's Creed. Well, and this is my perspective. What is the difference between paying, I don't know, like $2, I don't know, $5 for the bows? $10 for, oh my god, okay. What is the difference between paying $10 for a boost in experience, or in another game, I suppose, or this game as well? This game is always online. I haven't played it, so I recently found out about a few things. But like, imagine the Elder Scrolls, where you can just add gold to your character, or actually add experience, or turn on God mode.
Yeah,
for
obviously,
free. For free, right? So what is the difference? Isn't that just paid cheating with the experience boost?
Yeah, more or less. But that's what actual.
No. Oh, thank God.
Oh, I can see you now fading.
Oh yeah, that's a Subnautica for you.
I need silver ore. Why is there no silver ore?
But you see what
that's the red area. If it's the same as it was before.
But you see what I mean, Cristo? Is that
apparently Origins had a cheat menu where you could give yourself OP boosts. It disabled achievements though.
Of course they did,
and it was free.
Oh,
I'm assuming.
And now Odyssey doesn't have that.
Yeah, now it's paid.
Yeah. So you see what I mean?
If you really wanted to, but if you wanted to, like, it's just gonna. I mean, maybe they've blocked this off. Maybe they're like not doing modding support. But surely it's just like an INI file somewhere. Change the number to 1 to 1.5.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
I do think if you pay for an XP boost in Odyssey, you're a sucker, and it's a crime to allow a sucker to remain unparted with their money.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason why I would see it is if you like have extremely limited time.
Then don't play an open world game.
Oh, no, just cheat.
Well, what if you love open world games and you have to work?
Then divorce your wife or somehow otherwise generate more time.
Or just cheat, because that's what I did in Morrowind not Morrowind, sorry, in Oblivion, for example. Like, I couldn't bear just the enemy after enemy that took like 2 minutes each of me smacking against them for stealing their life. I was just literally clicking my button time and again over bandits, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna God mode this. And I just went around God moding it because it was more fun for me that way. The combat itself wasn't a challenge, and I cheated. Like,
hello, Santos. I love you too.
And Travavar is pointing out in chat that you cannot cheat in online games like World of Tanks, and that's true. But this is a single-player game. It's always online, but it's single-player.
Game, you should be able to do whatever you want in terms of setting it up. So it strikes me as, you know, reasonably scummy to charge for that.
Yeah,
but it's not. I haven't. Someone said there's adverts in loading screens for microtransactions. That's not true as far as I've seen, unless they've changed it. All of there are tips in loading screens, but they're all gameplay hints.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm getting lost.
You have like a marker that points back.
Yeah, there's a marker. It's
It's losing like where I'm going to collect resources, not losing the escape pod.
Yeah.
You could lay a trail of stuff along the surface. or you could get good.
Yeah, but the thing, I think, honestly, I think it's a tendency that we have, that the industry has, the microtransaction one, that I cannot understand how it's not driving more people away from AAA games, honestly. I don't, with the games that I play,
well, because the thing is, a game like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where some people are saying they've designed it such that you have to use the XP boosts, which is just horse crap, as far as I'm concerned. But I mean, if that were true, then sure, I can see why that would drive people away. But as it is, if you don't use the microtransactions, they affect you precisely 0.
I don't think so, because the, I mean, microtransactions are there to be sold, right? And even if they, and I understand what you're saying. It was like, I'm not doubting that what you're saying regarding it not having like either too long of a grind or thing. People say that it's grindy, and I understand what you're saying. I'm not doubting you. I'm saying it. What I'm saying is, the game is different than it would be if it didn't have microtransactions. Because
so I'm not. Yeah. So basically, I'm just not sold on that. So I mean, how specifically, and how would you demonstrate that? You'd have to compare to previous ones.
No, not necessarily. I mean, you design like.
I mean, Cristo, they wouldn't put them in if they didn't need to buy them.
No, of course not. So my point is, I'm happy with them in there, or I'm not happy with them, but it doesn't bother me that they're in there, insofar as their attempts to make you buy them are not obtrusive and don't make the game worse.
But they have to affect the game, otherwise you'd never want to buy them.
Not necessarily.
If they just give you cheat codes, then you don't need microtransactions.
No, but that's the point. I don't want to buy them. And they haven't, as far as I can tell, nothing has made me want to buy them. Nothing has.
But what I'm saying is, you may be having you don't know what they have not put in because they wanted to have microtransactions.
Well, the thing is, you can compare it to previous titles without microtransactions. Say, well, what is it missing? What have they taken out?
Well, it's a different game altogether. I mean, people are saying that it's a lot more RPG-ish in the sense that you level up a lot more.
That's true. There are more heavier RPG elements.
And that's what I meant. They can
compare it to like The Witcher. What is there missing?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. What I mean is, I'm not saying that they made the game harder or just different. I'm saying that they can make the game that they did because they have microtransactions. Because there's always a lot
limited by it.
Yeah, if they didn't have microtransactions, they wouldn't put the grind in because they know a lot of people don't like it, and they'd also want to sell to that people.
It's just not true. So if you have like things like The Witcher, for example, the level gating in The Witcher is much more hardcore than it is in Odyssey.
But
if you try to go,
damn it.
But
I tried to slice the little blow-up fish.
If you try to go against an enemy that's much too high a level for you, in which you get completely owned, and that's because in some more RPG style games, that's just what they go with.
But that's what,
I don't think it's fair to say, well, there's grind, therefore they put that in because of the.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not. They couldn't make it a The Witcher game because they're selling for a different audience, and it allows them to reach a vaster. That's why they say that's an option. And that's all the problems, but that's why they say it's an option, because they mean to use the microtransactions as a way to reach a broader audience, and while charging a part of the audience more. You know what I mean?
The same things.
You just swim away from them. You just swim away.
That's what I do, and they still damage me. They just catch me.
They're
really fast.
On you.
Are you looking at the multi-twitch? Look at the multi-twitch. Let me go find one for you.
I'm not looking at to it. I can't. My PC can't take it.
Fair enough.
You guys lag out when I opened it.
I have great internet now, which is brilliant. So I can definitely. Sorry, here's that one. I'm gonna take 0 damage. You ready?
Ooh, look at that.
There you go.
Seamoth.
You've got a Seamoth already?
No, I just found a fragment.
Okay. So like, if in the late game I find you have to do like loads of boring grind if you want to, then that would be annoying. But like, I mean, it's difficult to tell to what extent that's going on because they want you to spend more time in their open worldy game, or because they want to force you to buy microtransactions.
Okay,
and the thing about the grind.
Stop looking. I think the problem is you're not looking at it in the right light. This is more of a philosophical question. It's not.
It's not necessarily. It's also
now
a
you're in his
practical
wheelhouse.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, you have more options, your decisions are different.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah.
No. You're asking me philosophical questions. I can give you the scenario in which that's not true.
No. I'm saying that philosophically, if you have more options, you will make different decisions. If you have one option, you can only make one decision.
Yeah, if you have a choice
two
between,
options,
if you have a choice
and the
between A
situation
and B,
changes, you can make different decisions.
If you have a choice between A and B, and then you have a choice between A, B, and C, it can be that 100% of people make the same decision as they did in the first case.
It can be, but what I'm saying is the option will change your decision. It changes your process making, your decision process making.
It's like when there's a product that's just meant. Like when there's a line of products.
You're saying that having more options doesn't make any difference at all.
No, it's just that there are circumstances in which it makes no difference at all.
Sure.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that is because they have more options, they are informing their decisions with those options. A corporation isn't going to say, I don't really care about that. They're going to do whatever makes the most sense for them.
Right, and in this case, I think that included making microtransaction, you know what I'm trying to say, optional and non-intrusive. That's my claim. So it behooves them financially to make them non-intrusive because of all the backlash that doing otherwise would give them. And I think they've done.
Oh, I'm not saying that they aren't on thin ice right now because of all the bullshit that's been going on in the last year. But what I am saying is that overall, the practice is terrible. Like, it's bad for the industry because all it does is push bad decisions.
I think when
it pushes the games industry in the wrong direction.
Why have you got Fortnite ads, Cristo? I don't set the ads.
Why wouldn't you
make any money from the ads either?
Epic sold me an ad block, so I've been running those for the last week.
I think that
insofar as the company resists the potential negative influences, then I think they are no problem. Go ahead.
Can I touch on, like, I think it's very important to just touch on just to clarify and see if I understood properly, the fact that there are more options can influence your. Oh, I'm about to die by a huge creature that's deadly.
It can influence. It doesn't necessarily.
It doesn't necessarily, sure, but it's like when
it influences, it just doesn't change the outcome all the time.
Oh, that's okay. So
no, I think there are circumstances where it influences to such a small degree that it changes the outcome in 0% of the cases. But are you talking about the devs or the players? 'Cause I thought you were talking about the players.
About the devs.
I'm talking about the devs.
Yeah, about the devs. I wanted to touch on something, which is that how it influences the gaming industry has a more pervasive effect. If you see, I'm not even talking about the influence that making a game has on other devs, just normally, because, you know, you make a game, people use inspiration and all this sort of stuff, and marketing schemes and business strategies also get influence other companies. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking specifically in regards to how games are made in a way that allows them to monetize their content. And I think yeah, go ahead.
Good. Well, there is a thing to keep a very close eye on, which is, are the XP boosters here? Are the existence of the XP boosters causing the devs to make it intentionally substantially more grindy in a way that makes it less fun, and therefore trying to encourage you to buy them?
Yeah,
and
but
my current thus far conclusion is that no, they're not doing that.
I'm not making that argument.
How far are you into the game?
Like 9 hours or something. Which
is why I say how long the game is?
About 60 hours.
But I'm not making that argument, Cristo. I'm making I'm making a more problematic argument, as it were, which is, it's not about how intrusive a developer makes the game or makes the monetization of the game. It's rather about what kind of game they are interested in making and also allowed to make by the market. Which at the larger scale is is already making the gaming scene more normal, more samey, more blendy, a lot more difficult to be sort of innovative.
I completely disagree, but you can finish.
What I mean is,
really,
there's no incentive.
Think the AAA games are getting more.
That is a rather different statement to the one he just made, in a rather obviously significant.
Well, we're talking about microtransactions, which tend not to show up in indie titles all that often.
I think I was making that statement, but what did you understand I was saying, Cristo?
So there's two claims. Microtransactions and the pervasiveness of multiplayer or always-on style gameplay is forcing the gaming industry to be more narrow, or the AAA gaming industry to be more narrow.
I mean the AAA industry, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Who cares? Because if the AAA industry goes more narrow and therefore less fun, then the indie industry just explodes because the people who are not getting what they want in the AAA industry get it in the indie industry.
But that's not what we're observing.
It's a self-correcting.
That's not.
I think it is. The indie development scene is substantially more diverse than it was before the invention of microtransactions. And I'm not saying that's a correlation causation. That's just because the gaming development scene in general is exploding.
It's more diverse, but it's also strangling the developers.
It's not strangling indie developers. It might be forcing AAA developers to make that kind of thing, but you can still make the same amount of money as you could before microtransactions came out on your indie game.
I don't think you can.
It's just that the big companies make more with the microtransactions.
I don't think... yes, they do, but I think also that might... I'm not establishing causality here because that might be the cause why what I'm about to say is the case, I feel. The fact that that AAA developers are making more money. But the thing is, we talked last week about... did we talk? No, we didn't, actually. I think it was this week that... that's also another piece of news. Apparently, Microsoft is interested in buying Obsidian. Obsidian Entertainment. Yeah. And Obsidian is known to have made Neverwinter Nights 2, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, recently Pillars of Eternity, and Tyranny. And also they made Dungeons & Dragons 3. And yeah, they have other games. And I was looking at that, and I mean, for one, Microsoft is not Electronic Arts. They don't hold as much of a creative grasp on their studios, which is, I think, is going to be good for a game that makes role-playing games. Even though, obviously, Microsoft wants AAA games, and yeah, that's good. But the thing is, Pillars of Eternity 1, I think, sold like 1.5 million or 2 million copies.
They had a really good publisher.
They did. I don't know exactly sales figures.
Well, who could that be?
Here comes the shilling.
I don't know exactly sales figures for everything, but I do know that they kickstarted it in 2012 when they got saved from bankruptcy by a free-to-play game called Armored Warfare, I believe. They got a contract to make the game for 3 years or something like that, and it was a free-to-play game like World of Tanks. And they got saved by that. They're a big company. They're, I think, like 200 people working there. It's like they're not AAA in the sense that they don't have the graphical quality of AAA games, but they do invest a lot of money in voice acting. They have their own engine. They have a lot of expenses. And Pillars of Eternity, I think, was profitable. 1.5 million copies. If they are making on average like $20 after taxes and all the things off of that, that's a lot of millions of dollars. That's like $30 million.
Oh, thank God.
But
I got the sea glide.
Tyranny, as far as I know, sold 200,000. Tyranny was sort of a B game that they released in the interim between Pillars and Pillars 2.
Also, fantastic developer. I got sea glide 10 seconds after you bastard.
What I'm seeing though is that Tyranny in particular had very low sales, and I think Pillars of Eternity 2 hasn't breached the 500,000 yet. And we have Bard Still 4.
It's not very good.
Bard Still 4, who's come out recently. We have also Bard Still 4 is from In Exile, who also is not doing very well. We also had Torment Tides of Numenera, which didn't sell very well either. And those are big. They're millions of dollars worth of money there that are not making their money back. Yeah. And it's from AA companies that are the best at what they do. There's nobody, I mean, there's Larian Studios as well, but they're, and Larian, I don't know if I think they made their money with Divinity Original Sin 2, I'm pretty sure they did, but they oughta.
I hate that I have to go outside to get titanium. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then I look at that, and like, that worries me, but I always compare it, for better or worse, and I might be wrong on this, and show me your perspective here, but I always compare it to what happened, remember Legend of Grimrock?
No, you are the man on anything older than like Pillars 1.
Yeah, Legend of Grimrock.
You and Shu, anyway.
Legend of Grimrock, I think, came out in 2013, and it's like an old school dungeon crawler where you have a team, like first person. You have a team of 4, some similar to Dungeon Keeper, or like that old school, like Ultima. No, sorry, Might and Magic rather. And that game made 1 million and something copies, and it's like made by a single person. It was a very successful, and that the team grew a little bit, and they made Legend of Grimrock 2 within, I think, was a year or a year and a half after that, and it sold 200,000 copies. From 1 million and more to 200,000. A game that the second one is a lot better, a lot prettier, just much better in all regards. And sure, some people will prefer the first, but I get the impression.
So Santos, that is her in my chat, by the way. So you just put that in by my girlfriend.
So yeah, basically, I look at this and I think the indie scene might be shrinking.
Well, you can get the numbers just for the economic size of the in development scene. It's growing exponentially and has been for years. And
yes.
I mean, paint me the picture of how on earth microtransactions. God, what the hell is this place? How am I already down here? Tell me how on earth microtransactions could ever make indie games less successful. They can make them less attractive to investors, but in Kickstarter age, you don't even need that.
Yes, it's true. I'm not making that argument though. I'm saying
Kickstarter's not a replacement for investors.
It's not a complete replacement, but
it's not even like halfway a replacement.
It definitely is. In certain cases, it's a 100% replacement.
On big studios, it's not.
That's a different conversation.
For Obsidian,
well, there are games which have been made purely via Kickstarter. Good ones.
No, they've also had private capital.
There are those that have not.
Well, there's
a single person or 2-person indie dev studio, which is something that would probably get made in a garage anyways.
Hang on, I need to Google something.
Well, I think Pillars of Eternity, the original one, raised $4.5 million. Do you think that is enough to develop the game? I'm not saying they didn't have help, because they did have a publisher. So there's always but they might even pay for the services of the publisher. Imagine the publishers usually handle voice acting and translation and testing. That costs money. I don't know if Obsidian paid whoever did that for them, but do you think $4.5 million for Pillars of Eternity 1 is enough to make the game?
Well, I'm looking at Pillars of Eternity 2.
Yeah.
Do you think someone else funded that? Who else funded that?
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea.
Me.
I did.
Addaway. That's why he doesn't have a good computer. He spent all his money on Pillars of Eternity.
Wikipage has no reference of any any external source of funding for.
Well, that doesn't
Pillars
mean
2. It doesn't, but you would have. I mean, I would put it on there. If we can find it today, I'll put it on there.
No, but those aren't things that are publicly shown.
Yes, they are. That would come up in a. You have to release tax.
It shows up in a tax report. Tax reports aren't always
public for publicly traded companies. Yes, they are.
No.
Obsidian isn't publicly traded though.
True. I think isn't that for? Nah, that's true.
There's some tax records might show, but I wouldn't know though. What I mean, I'm not saying that AAA developers or AAA games sucking out more money out of the customer is damaging to the indies. If anything, it's better. If anything, that's counteracting what's happening to the indies. What I'm saying to the indies is that it might be growing too fast for its own developers. Because
yes, absolutely.
I see the results of that, but I also see the possible causes. Steam, for example, which for years has had problems with crappy games flooding its marketplace, and still has it more than ever, but it's now at a point where nobody even cares. I haven't used Steam to look for new games since 2 years ago now, because it's just irrelevant. I don't do that.
No one.
It's impossible. I used to do it, not anymore, because it's just I'm not gonna find anything. And I think, even for example, developers who go to the Switch because they will sell 20 times more on the Switch than they do on Steam. That's very real. That and there's a small number of developers who do that, and I think that's why they still can do that. It's it's like any scene really. If you're the first to the trough, you're gonna get to eat more. But the fact that at the same time as the indies are sort of cannibalizing themselves, there's also the AAA who are making games that are bigger, more live service oriented, that take up more space of the players, and people who play a game such as World of Warcraft for a job who are still, there's a lot of people who do stuff like that. Not talking just World of Warcraft, but like there's Overwatch.
Yeah, but all the people that play World of Warcraft these days are really boring, right, Chi?
What I mean is those people who spend...
motherfucker.
Those people don't have time to go play indies or pay for indies, you know? And the more the AAA...
Well, with the way that World of Warcraft is designed, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, they do that. They have an incentive to make their games as enticing, as addictive as possible.
World of Warcraft is also like... God damn it, you...
Rubbish.
Junk. Sorry.
I'm not speaking from experience in regards to World of Warcraft.
Chi's girlfriend plays World of Warcraft, which is why I'm making fun of him.
Yes.
Addaway, you misspelled Lambert's name in the Patrons list, by the way.
Did I?
He's complaining about it.
We'll leave it that way.
How did I spell it? I misspelled Lambert.
I mean, maybe you got the wrong number. I don't know.
As well, did he tell you? Lambert.
Yeah.
Lambert 2191.
Lambert 2191. Sounds like a Greek letter.
Uh-oh.
Soz.
So, but this is just, I'm not even...
Fix for next time.
I'm not even, you know, putting out a theory or anything. It's just sort of a perspective. I don't know.
Yeah.
See you on the other side, boys.
What are you doing?
Oh, I made it. I made it. It was completely black. It was completely black that time.
We really need some silver ore now.
Oh yeah, by the way, I'm leaving you early, so I'm glad there's 4 of us, so 3 can continue.
Oh, you're leaving right now?
What is this?
No, not yet.
Oh,
not
okay.
for half an hour.
Oh,
Date night.
outrageous.
It's date night. I tried to move when we had my girlfriend booked the place for, but I failed.
Well,
Out on a date at 6, 5, 6. I don't even know what time it is over there.
Don't question his dates.
We'll be
It's
getting
not
there at half. We'll be getting there at 6:30.
It's a bit early, but okay.
It's true, actually.
That's
My clock is slightly fast.
I can't find sulfur. Do you guys know where sulfur is?
6:30 to arrive for dinner. It's relatively early. I would
Oh,
say.
for dinner? Yeah, that's definitely.
Do you know where
early
sulfur?
for me.
No,
don't
no
know.
one tell him. You're
Hmm.
playing on freaking.
I'm figuring things
Playing
out.
on easy
I
mode.
don't
no
even
one help him.
remember, honestly.
I'd be dead so much.
I eat dinner at like 5 o'clock normally.
What am I trying to find?
Really?
Yeah, Addaway is weird. I eat my dinner real early.
Your dinner or your lunch?
Dinner. I eat dinner very early compared to most people, and Addaway still freaks me out with how early he eats it.
I had a lunch 1 hour ago, or in the same time zone.
I will start making dinner at like
I
5
don't
o'clock.
understand you though, Colonel.
But I get up really early, so it all works out.
Yeah.
I do get up early. I do not eat dinner early. I eat something at 5, but it's more of a lunch.
Right.
Because I usually
Right.
don't get hungry until about 1 p.m. when I wake up around 7.
Yeah, I don't like eating.
No, Chew. That's so very. You get up at 7 and don't eat till 1.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
good.
hungry.
You're
Like
gonna-
it actually, if I eat, my
you
stomach
need to.
hurts.
Well, you should get used to it because it's
No,
what
it's-
living an adult life is about. You doing some things that are unpleasant sometimes.
Breakfast is a scam.
incredibly bad.
Here's the
It's
thing.
so
I'd rather not be
incredibly bad
uncomfortable
for you.
every morning of my life, and I'd
You're-
rather just eat when I get hungry.
You're
Breakfast is a scam.
Like, it's not true.
Don't believe the lies.
It's not true.
I'm
Look,
kidding.
I totally understand. You know, if you need breakfast, if you have to eat in the
No,
morning,
it's not.
sure,
If
fine.
you need breakfast, it's overwhelmingly bad for your short and long-term mental and physical health to not eat breakfast when you get up.
Blah, blah, blah,
I
blah,
honestly
blah.
have looked. I have.
Thanks, Mom.
I
It's
honestly
not
have.
the most important meal of the day, Lambert, but it is the most missed meal of the day, which makes it the most important meal of the day for people to actually friggin' eat.
I have looked into this, to be honest, and
Food is a crutch. Learn to live without it.
I've looked into this, and I've never found any decisive, like conclusive.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
There are a million counter studies that all say you don't or do need to eat breakfast.
Yeah, and there's some
At
that
this
say
point, I've
depends
decided
on the
it's a
person. Yeah,
There are a million counter studies on literally every topic. That's why you don't
That's
look at
true.
individual studies. You look at meta studies.
Sure. Show me the meta study.
Oh,
The reason
my
my
God,
screen
I
is
silver.
stationary right now is because I am finding you the meta study.
Okay.
my problem with breakfast is that the same people who have been telling me my entire life, as I haven't had regular breakfast my entire life, same people who tell me that breakfast is so important are the same people who tell me that I shouldn't have a bath after a meal. And I'm saying no.
You might get a swimming cramp. It's very important that you don't swim.
Not even a swimming, like going to the bathtub and having a bath or a shower.
No, I know. I'm making a joke.
And yeah, so it's like, no, you don't even play the right kind of games. Shut up. And I don't have breakfast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, meta study, 2014.
Okay, explain the meta study requirements to be a part of the meta study.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Do I have to? Because my screen's...
Yeah, because otherwise...
Can't you read the link?
Oh, there's a link?
Well, you can send me the link. I'll read it later. Sure.
Oh, I see the link. Multi-tweet... No, that's a different one.
Yep.
I should probably post that. Let me not drown.
There you go.
There's so many nasty creatures around my pod. I don't like this.
Important as any other meal. Important as any other meal. There you go.
Important as any other meal. Sure, but I still have 3 meals a day.
Well, be spending a lot of time in which you haven't eaten.
Sure.
Even
But I'm not hungry.
You are...
Well,
If I was hungry, I would eat. I don't have any problem eating breakfast.
How about this? How about this, Stu? Put your cards on the table. If you were to spend a week having doing your current schedule, and then before you ate your first meal of the day about lunchtime, lunchtime for those of us in the civilized world, by the way, is about 1 p.m. Then
12 o'clock.
That's same difference.
Yeah, so, but just before you were to eat lunch,
I eat lunch at like 11 o'clock sometimes.
Let's say you did a reaction test just before you had your first meal of the day at about 1 p.m., right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you'd do better or worse if you'd had breakfast?
My blood sugar is going to be low, so I'll do worse.
I'll actually do...
So why are you intentionally
But the same before any meal.
No, actually, I can't disagree with that.
Before a meal, having skipped the previous one is my point.
So if you were skipping the meal, though.
The meals aren't set in stone.
Do you agree that by not having breakfast, you're low on blood sugar when it gets to midday?
But here's the thing. I still have
Answer the question.
3 meals within the same time period as a normal person would. It's just
but you spend longer. No, that's the point.
That's bad for you.
Normal people spend the whole day with food digesting, whereas you're spending several hours a day with you still have some from previous meals, but with substantially less digesting.
Yes.
Which means my blood sugar, like if we were both playing a game at 11 p.m., my blood sugar will be higher and I'll play better. All else being equal.
I will
probably.
I will.
So why are you're hampering yourself from video gaming?
Can I disagree with that?
Because I don't game at 11 most days.
If I have breakfast, I consistently perform worse at work than if I do. Sorry, I perform better at work if I don't have breakfast. That's what I mean. In the morning.
Nah.
I promise you
as well because I don't have stomach cramps.
Because I don't have stomach cramps. Yeah, it's just so much better. Now
That's because you allowed yourself to become weak.
No, I do recognize I'm not a British person.
You get used to eating breakfast because it's not very pleasant to eat the second you've woken up. You get used to it and then it's good for you.
I'm not saying that's not the case.
Myself feel worse in the morning.
I just mean that
short term.
Portuguese breakfasts are very
Why would
tiny.
you do sit-ups? Why would you do sit-ups? It hurts my tummy.
3 hours after.
Yeah, but then you get used to it.
I mean, but who eats breakfast straight after waking up, though?
It's true.
This is the dumbest argument. Yes, I should make myself feel worse for the first 3 hours of the day because Cristo says I'm a win.
It's not because Cristo says, because you'll have lower blood sugar, which means your response time, your general awareness,
my response times are fine, though.
Things.
I don't have an issue with performance at work.
Well, okay, insofar as you don't care how well you do compared to how well you could do, maybe that's true.
Like, here's the thing. The only person that works harder than me is my boss. So, like,
you might well be an impeccable worker, but my point is, do you agree that if you had higher blood sugar levels amongst various other benefits, you'd be an even better worker? And you'd be a happier worker, too.
I don't know about that.
Well, I do.
Because here's the thing. I also noticed that if I, eat meals earlier in the day, I tend to get tired earlier. Which means that I would come home and not want to stream, which makes me less happy.
It is true. Having a regular meal schedule encourages you to have a regular sleeping schedule. Shall we go on to the next topic?
To the next advantage of it?
Yes. I go to sleep just fine.
What time do you go to sleep?
I go to sleep between 9 and 12 most days.
What?
Okay, no. You already have a terrible sleep schedule because that's too large of a variance.
Well, the variance...
Regular sleep patterns are very good for you.
So you're gonna sleep like a wildly different time.
I have a terrible sleep pattern. The fact that I am bad does not mean you are not also bad.
That's a good argument right there.
I'm not gonna say that my sleep patterns are amazing. I definitely don't have the best sleep, but I also suffer from like insomnia spells.
Do you know one of the solutions to suffering from insomnia?
Eating more.
Regular eating at normal times, because it encourages you to go to sleep easier and sleep better. I'm not kidding. I know that sounds contrived.
I've gone through this.
At normal times? That's a very specific... What do you mean normal times?
At times that are...
I've gone through this with a GP and a psychiatrist, and we tried it for years, and it didn't help at all.
Yeah. Honestly, that's what I think.
You can skeptic all you want. I'm just telling you what happened.
Honestly, that's what I think.
Some spells, and I don't think it has anything to do with eating.
Some people just work differently from others, and yeah.
That's true, but almost everyone.
I also am clearly a damaged brain. I have ADHD.
That also will screw your sleep.
Why should we take your opinion on sleeping seriously then?
Don't do whatever you want, because it doesn't work. Look, I don't have great sleeping. I would prefer you take anybody else's.
I'm going to Addaway's chat. This is a bit much. You realize you're going to hear the same thing, right?
Well, if your chat is much.
Yeah, maybe the chat.
My chat's great. My chat has my girlfriend and Santos fighting over me at the moment.
It's always been Addaway's dream.
I can't find any silver. This is really irritating me now.
Have you gone to like the Red Plains area?
Where's that?
It's not the Red Plains. It's Red Plains.
I'll go towards the ship.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you don't land in the same place, so it's difficult to say exactly where it is.
Why is there a motorcycle?
You land in different places?
Yeah, you can land anywhere in the first biome.
I just heard a
either way, it's towards the ship.
Was there a motorcycle in real life, or is it in a video game?
Was there a what?
A motorcycle, like.
Motorcycle. That's probably mine. I live on.
Okay.
I live on like
the
second largest road in the country.
Living on the highway.
I'm honestly surprised at how little road noise you get living on the second highest, like largest highway.
We'll say that there is quite a lot. It's not a highway. I'm not. It's a highway further along its road, but it's not.
Oh, okay, you're on like a little like 2-lane section of it.
A highway for ambulances and motorbikes. Basically.
It does. There are a lot of freaking motorcycles to go through here.
Your stream. It says you play. Oh, that's the. Really? I updated it.
It never does.
Information again.
Hey, Rajas.
I don't know why
I'm
Twitch
so dead.
a simple form submission. Like,
yeah, I don't. It happens to me as well.
It's insane. They can route all of this data for this fucking video, but they can't just take, 4 lines of
title
text.
Please.
It's insane.
Please. 40 meters, 1 oxygen. No, I'm gonna make it. Yes.
Nice.
Do I have the mask yet?
Speaking of things people disagree, can we talk about, and going back to the subject we were touching on before?
Yeah.
Can we talk about how Intel has paid a developer, a tester, to make the benchmarks?
Oh my god.
That are all scummy and weird.
Absolutely.
I don't understand. They already have probably the best processor on the market, like in that price range.
Yeah.
Like what is Intel's endgame? Like
obviously, we all agree it's like a terrible idea. Should it be illegal?
Well, it is illegal. What they did.
It is illegal.
False advertising.
What they did.
Okay, so they did this. So he did this, and then he concealed the fact he was paid to do it.
No. They did completely everything by the books. It is illegal to do a false advertising. What they did is not illegal. And
they hired a firm that tests equipment, but is grossly incompetent, obviously.
Right. So what I'm saying is, should
bribed? I don't know.
Yeah.
Should biasing that kind of result be allowed? Is my point. I think yes, but there should just be a standardized. There should just be a one, company that's like a regulatory board for CVUs that just runs
so for
the
people
tests.
who are listening, let me just
not that has any control over it, but just that runs the test.
Let me just give it
that's the worst idea, because as soon as they have a problem, then no standards mean anything.
Let me
say have a problem. What you
let me clue in our viewers so they know what they're talking about. Maybe
an issue in their methodology.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so basically what happened is Intel is now going to release in this month, I think, their new generation of CPUs, and until the 20-something, normal journalists don't have access or cannot publish reviews and like benchmarks.
Hi, Subnautica.
Welcome
to the right chat.
What they did is they paid to a specific reviewer. They paid for them to review the CPUs. What that reviewer did was compare the new Intel CPUs against the competitors, which are AMD, in a way, and they completely disclosed that they are A, paid, and B, also the methodology of their testing. They completely disclose all of that. And they came to conclusions that the new CPUs by Intel are up to 50% faster than their counterparts.
Which is insane.
Which is a lot, yeah, it's just incredible. What people, I mean, that shouldn't be as high, judging by what all that happens. Yeah. And what people realized rather quickly was that something was wrong. There was something wrong. And then actual reviewers and people who are in the know went through all the steps that the reviewer that was paid by Intel did. And they have the settings, they have the systems and all that, and there was a lot of issues with that. But at the very end, there was one specific setting which is called game mode. That's meant for the sort of workstation CPUs by AMD, and they had activated that game mode for AMD's CPUs, the competitor from Intel. What that did is that they disabled half the cores of the CPU from AMD, and that's why that was a 50% performance disparity. In the meantime, they have released the new updated benchmarks, and there's a 15% the difference in performance, which is what we expected.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
So
also, I mean, there was a lot of weird BS going on, like motherboard issues, because you have to pick your motherboards very carefully so that you can do your RAM timings properly, which is very important for AMD CPUs.
Absolutely.
So it was a whole debacle. Like, the entire thing was trash. Now, the reason why you don't want to have a single regulatory board that like does all of this for you,
regulatory, but
you don't want to have one organization that does this all for you, is because if they screw up or if they get compromised for any reason, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean,
also it's probably
true, but if you had someone who was specializing in that, they would be the least likely to be either of those things.
No, they would be the most likely to be corrupt.
Yeah. Yeah, I really,
because they would then immediately go out of because then as soon as that came out, it would immediately go out of business.
Have you seen the EPA?
And for example, they would never be taken seriously. If you had a body like that, you could set it up. You have as part of its charter, they won't do that, and then they will never disclose it. Which means if they did it without disclosing it, you could send them to prison.
Have you looked into what the EPA is doing?
Because it's the EPA.
Do you know what the EPA is?
It sounds like Environment Protection Agency.
Yes.
Yep. That's it.
So basically, it's not quite the same situation.
That's why I say it's not even similar.
It's not quite the same thing. It's just, but it is an official body that's meant to regulate and sort of help.
Yeah, so I'm not saying regulate. This is just like testing. This is much less like that and more like the what's the one called for age gating films and stuff?
Oh yeah, ESRB.
Yes. ESRB and all that, yeah.
So has there been a big scandal about them being bribed to raise and lower the ages and stuff?
No.
The ESRB,
there's a couple, but generally,
has had issues in the past.
But can I
100% trustworthy?
Can I curb?
Can
I curb your trust in institutions a little bit? I'll tell you a story about. Some of you might know, but I'll tell you a story about Intel and Sysmark. Do you guys?
I've lost my save game.
This one I don't know.
So
the game crashed, and the save I started today is I've lost it.
Yeah, that happened to me as well when my game crashed.
Well, thank you for reminding me to save.
Yes, that's very important.
Start a new game.
So what happened basically was back in 2003, I think, somewhere around there, 2004. Intel and AMD were trading blows with at the time Intel had the Pentium 4, and AMD had the I think it was the Opteron. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, that sounds kind of right. It was something around that.
So what happened was that before that, I think there was some regulations that didn't exist that allowed Intel to do tests, and the advertising was changed in some way, and Intel was just saying, "Oh, ours are twice as fast," and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
What ended up happening was that Sysmark, which was and still is a test, and then by the way was published the benchmark was used in the recent the benchmarks of the 9th generation Intel CPUs that we're talking about. But still, basically, Sysmark was an independent studio made by, I don't remember the name, but they were an independent benchmark. And what happened was at the release of, I think, the 3rd generation Pentium 4, all of a sudden, the AMD CPUs were losing by a pretty huge margin, and it wasn't understood why. And Intel was contributing with manpower to the benchmark company, and they still do. Sysmark is still basically Intel benchmarks, and they will favor Intel CPUs still to this day, and they are still used by some reviewers, and they're basically discredited, but they still do that.
So doesn't that sound like you need an independent body?
That was the independent body.
It sounds like you need as many bodies as possible that have access.
Why can't you have an independent body and all of that?
But Sysmark was the independent body.
Sure, whatever. It's just the independent body will eventually be corrupted.
Yeah.
And you replace it
with a lot of others. That's
why set all this up instead of just letting the market do it as it already does?
Because as we are establishing with this latest story, people listen to people even when they're saying they're sponsored. And having someone who is saying, we will never be sponsored.
And there's something even worse.
By highlighting how bad that is to be sponsored on something like that.
Let me defend you, Cristo, because there's something even worse. I think it's Chu that's talking, not Addaway. Addaway hasn't talked in a little while, has he?
I'm just listening to this.
No, yeah, expressed your game. So yeah, what you said, let the market decide. That's what Interplay, I think, in my not let the market decide, but rather let the market do its thing, and people will, people will do benchmarks, and it will be averaged and all that sort of stuff. Now, what is most interesting and pervasive about what happened with this particular set of benchmarks, and maybe it's not going to happen now that they reviewed, but the thing was, the company that did the benchmarks, they published exactly the methodology that they used to reach those numbers, right? And if you use that methodology, you will reach the same numbers. The problem is that the methodology in place.
Yeah, completely flawed.
And here is where it's pervasive. Not only will news sites like I don't know, Tom's Hardware and whatever report those headlines about new Intel CPUs twice as fast or 15% faster than AMD's and all that sort of stuff. Not only will that happen because they don't look into the methods and they're not critical, but also a lot of reviewers will look up the methodology to test, because doing benchmarks is tricky. So they'll find that huge and very complex and very detailed file, that PDF, and they'll go through, okay, this is all we need, and we'll set all these settings, they'll reach the same numbers despite those numbers being flawed. And that's what I think Intel might have, or I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but the end result would be that by publishing that methodology, the overall and just uninformed results of benchmarks or uninformed benchmarkers would reach the same numbers, that it's 50% faster, because they're effectively cutting the competition in half. So at one point, you're right, Cristo. An independent entity would allow for more control in that regard. But at the same time, I do have the issue of it's so easy for independent bodies to, especially on a global market, because you have to also think of that just from a pragmatical perspective. On a global market, it's so easy for them to be scummy, and Intel has such a scummy history, to be honest.
The only company I hold in lower regard is NVIDIA. Like in the computer hardware market.
Yeah. Yes, they also don't. Oh boy, yeah. But you see what I mean? It's very tricky, because there's a lot of money riding on this, and there's a lot of interest in maintaining the money going where, like, even especially from independents. There's people who are not from Intel that benefit immensely by Intel being richer or having more market share.
Yeah.
And NVIDIA
basically,
the same. Yeah.
I think the smarter option, instead of building a company that's not sponsored, is to just say that the review companies can't be sponsored in law.
Yeah.
No, because then you'd need. So what's that law going to say?
And it's going to say that if you are doing benchmarks or testing for a hardware
it's
company,
ludicrously specific. You need if you pass a law like that, it's going to expand to cover all kinds of things about sponsored content.
Like if you're doing benchmarks,
you can't just say oh, you can't do it on benchmarks, but it's fine on literally every other area.
Yeah,
so you're going to need you're going to need to have a more expansive thing. Apart from anything else, just because no one would bother passing it if it was just benchmarks.
Yeah, but like, the thing is, what is a benchmark? Like, if you play a game and say how many frames you were getting, that's not a benchmark. That's just saying a thing.
Black screen.
Right?
Are you there? You meant to be something a black screen.
He's loading the game again.
The game crashed, and then it was taking like 5 minutes to load into a new game, so I'm just restarted it again.
Yeah.
But like, I think what you're saying regarding the laws is a big problem, because the definition itself, like, we have issues.
But for anything else, if you're not allowed to be paid to produce benchmarks, AMD can't make.
No. You can be paid. You just can't be paid by Intel or.
No, that means Intel can't do it for themselves.
Yeah, but they weren't paid to do reviews. They were paid to do benchmarks.
Why do they need to?
To check how their product is working.
Yeah, that's also true. Exactly.
No, okay, that's fine. If you're publicly announcing the benchmark, you can't be sponsored, but they can still have their own internal review boards.
Well, how is that different? That's them sponsoring, or rather just paying their employees to create benchmarks.
Yeah, they're benefiting.
It's internal within the company.
Yeah, it's different.
So my point is, you're going to have to word. Different. It's obviously different, but the law.
Yes, laws have to be worded carefully. I'm not.
No, you're not. It's not that it has to be worded carefully. It has to be ludicrously specific. And you don't set up laws like that. You don't just say, okay, there's this one extremely specific practice that happens in lots of areas, and we're going to ban it in this area, but only when you do it in this one very specific way.
And they'll just do it in a slightly different way. It's not outlawed again. Yeah.
And why shouldn't laws be specific?
Because governments have limited time, and if you decide that something is
if you
decide that something is bad practice, such as sponsoring reviews, in this case of something you're running a benchmark on, then you should.
Generic laws also turn into poor rulings that go counterintuitive to the laws.
They can be, but it's your only option, because governments have limited time and they have thousands of.
I don't think it's your only option.
I think maybe we're looking at this from the wrong perspective. I don't think that. Like, maybe we don't even need new laws. The problem isn't that what they did. The thing is, what they did wasn't illegal. They just exploited the fact that they have an NDA on developers, that they have a market advantage, and used not even false advertising, because that wasn't even false. The numbers were correct. It's just misleading, right?
Yeah. So what you need is a public perception that
finally here we
when
go.
When someone is telling you, when someone is telling you benchmarks, if they're being sponsored, you should essentially ignore them. And the way that you do that, in my opinion, is that you create a large body of non-sponsored benchmarks, which are branded specifically as such, in order to counter the public opinion, the apparent public opinion.
But they have
you should pay any attention to that.
But they have that. The NDA.
How does this not counter your whole governments have limited time?
This is not being done by a government.
No, it's done by the market.
This is just
but we have that.
Also, passing laws are the most consuming thing you can have a government do, because the passing laws will require the involvement of the entire government rather than like a couple of civil servants. Which is, even if you wanted it to be a government body, this would require the time of civil servants, and you can just hire more civil servants. Whereas when you're passing laws, you only have one house.
Yeah.
Or two houses, but you see what I mean.
But I think the problem here is just simply from a like it's not about it's not about having a large group of independent reviewers, because we have that, right?
Yeah. So you're right. It's not just about having lots of those. You just die again.
So the very first thing I broke is a silver rule.
Oh, congrats!
On the restart, the very first one.
That's funny.
So funny.
Anyway,
it's I think it's tricky because they're exploiting the laws themselves, and when companies start to exploit the laws for whatever it is, I mean, this applies to so many fields, but in this particular one, if they start to exploit the market, you can't fix it by adding more laws on top of laws. I feel. I don't know.
Weren't exploit. What law were they exploiting? They were exploiting a loophole.
The loophole that they are allowed to do NDAs to specific people and not to others. They are allowed.
Yeah, the NDA thing is garbage for sure, but it's also like you.
That sounds fine.
Yeah.
I mean, why? What are you saying? Companies should be allowed to? Yeah. I mean,
yeah. You need it. for sure. I'm not. That's the thing. You can't. It's not. This is not fixed with the law. You can. The law is not the problem here. I feel.
Honestly, the real fix is education of the public, but
yeah.
God knows that's never.
Or anti-competitive fines. That because that's what happens sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
Because
like
in
an indictment or something.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, like, you're not education when you're talking about such a huge market. Like nobody.
Game
like
over, boys.
The other day, I was what was it? Oh yeah, I was having an argument online about specifically the AMD CPUs, about how slower or not slower they are in gaming. And I get the impression, there's no need to go over the argument, doesn't matter, but I get the impression that the person who I was talking to, because of the way benchmarks are presented and because of the lack of time and geekiness that they had, which is nobody can fault anybody for that.
Yeah, sure.
They had the impression that
I can fault anyone for anything.
I'll back you. But the thing is, I feel that the person I was arguing with thought that, like, if you have a GTX 1060 graphics card, which is sort of a middle of the road 1080p graphics card, and if you put like if you go from an AMD or like even from a quad-core Intel CPU to one of the new ones, you're just gonna gain 50% more frames. You're not gonna. That's not gonna happen because the
limiting factor just changes.
The bottleneck changes. It's called the bottleneck for a reason, because you're never gonna fill the bottle faster than the neck, and it doesn't matter how wide the bottle is. It's like the problem there is the bottleneck with a quad-core Intel CPU is the CPU. You're getting, imagine, 60 frames with a GTX 1060 on, I don't know, Assassin's Creed. And if the CPU is holding you back...
Water through.
Sorry?
You just need higher pressure.
That's actually not.
Water doesn't compress as much as... no, but the thing is, like, you get 60 frames per second on Assassin's Creed, let's pretend. And if it's if your graphics card is being used 100%, it doesn't matter how stronger your CPU is going to be. It's not going to improve the graphics, or rather the performance.
Yep.
But if it's the other way around, like imagine your graphics card was a 2080, the new ones that cost more than $1,000. And that was only being used like 50% because your CPU couldn't keep up, and you were getting like 60 frames per second. Then if you get a better CPU, you're going to be able to even double the performance, not even 50%. You can double or triple the performance with a CPU.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's just such a big difference. So I think I was talking to a person who couldn't understand this, and was saying that there's games where the AMD CPUs just make the game unplayable because they were thinking on those numbers. On the 50%, and if you're getting like 30 frames more, and if you have 60 on the Intel, then surely on the AMD you're gonna have 30, and it's gonna be bad, right? So like the general population, it's hard to explain this, and just to clarify, if you're listening to this, it's very likely that your CPU is not the bottleneck. It's very likely
it's extremely unlikely that it is.
Yeah. Like some people will have some people who don't listen to this sort of content, I guess, will have really, really powerful graphics card on really, really sucky CPUs. But those are fringe numbers, to be honest. And like, because you're not going to spend 600 euros on a graphics card, and then normally you're not going to do that and do that time and time and again, I guess. I feel.
I don't use funny money.
Funny money. Or did I said euros?
Oh, I think you saw me.
Yeah, you said euros.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's the funny money that I use.
Yeah.
What are you panicking about, Cristo?
It's one of those great big monster things. It's coming after me.
Oh, you're already pretty deep then.
I mean, no.
No.
Not really. Not really. It's at like 130. It's just in a certain area.
I didn't think they appeared that shallow.
I'm assuming you're in the sandy area.
It's impossible to flee from the red little blowy up guys.
It's not. It's actually just trivial.
Goodbye, Nora.1. See you next time.
Can confirm. Bye bye. I know. Wait. Who was saying bye?
I was saying goodbye to my girlfriend in chat.
Oh, I thought all of a sudden.
I was confused. I was like, "What happened, Addaway?"
Yeah.
There's 2 Archangels, Zeph. One who's, I assume, one who's a Stellaris dev and one who's in our chat.
Wait, is Archangel in your chat?
Yeah.
Absolute betrayal.
Treachery.
Wait.
It's treason then.
Oh, do I have to do it from my bar? Is that what's going on?
All right, I reckon I can probably get home before I need to go. I'm 1,500 meters from my
need more
base.
silver ore.
There we go.
You can save in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
You can, yeah, but I just like to
you can
end
save wherever.
back at home.
Another power cell, some glass, some lubricant, another ingot. Okay. So.
And then there's other stuff that Intel has done, like pay developers of certain software to make it work worse on the competition and things.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's so much stuff in this, so much history that sometimes it colors our perception and perception of people.
Yeah.
I'll give
What
you
do you
some
mean radiation
icons.
detected? I'm just going back to my base.
It keeps telling me that as well, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
I need to build a radiation.
Let me
suit.
turn green and grow an extra eye.
Meh. It's not that important.
I mean, it will kill me.
It's not that important.
It's so dark out here. I need to get myself one of those swimmy things. I can't get copper,
Crap.
let alone the swimmy things.
Time is it? Okay, it has gone fast. So I'm like 700 meters away. I need to go after that. So
You can
go
absolutely slap down in my chat.
over
Christo.
to one of the other 3 and join their chats. Here's the link.
Go
all of
to
them
mine,
at once.
guys.
Here's the link to all of them at once, and you can.
My chat's
do
where
it
it's
all.
at.
You can pipe down to. Addaway's girlfriend just said, "I genuinely think he would leave me for you, Cristo."
Drums.
That's too good.
No, we can't. We're the same person, so we can't.
It's true. Yeah, it would be incestuous.
Wait, what?
Self-cestuous, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you sleep with someone in your
Masturbatory?
family, then
Oh,
that's-
yeah.
It's true. Masturbatory
Well, yeah,
is
but
technically
we're the
incestuous.
same.
I'm going to end on that. Masturbation.
Yeah.
technically incestuous.
Masturbation is incest.
Brilliant. Great end to the stream. Christo.
Why do you think all
It's
those
Stu,
incest
Addaway, and who?
porn
It's
videos are
Colonel.
popping up everywhere?
When you
Yeah,
back
what's up with
on
that?
stream tomorrow?
I don't know, dude. It's
I feel like I'm very in demand in my chat right now. This is
All of a sudden, I mean, I'm like I used to be able to come here and not feel bad about anything. What is this? And what's worse is, like, I don't know if it's worse. Don't misunderstand me when I say it's worse. But what's weird is that it's always like step siblings.
Yeah.
And why don't you go full way? Everybody knows this is fake. If you're gonna make it.
What were we talking about?
Zeph just put all the weird, like, if you do you read those yearly Pornhub reports of what's like the most searched thing in different places? It's hilarious.
No, not generally.
It's
not top of my reading list. Have to be honest.
It's actually hilarious. They release it once a year. It's safe for work. I mean, there's like no worries, and it's hilarious because they release all the different stats. So, for example, like the most searched type of porn in Afghanistan is gay porn, and for example, which is
Possibly.
just fun to know.
Yeah.
It's just fun to
They
know.
release stats after like major events and stuff too.
Oh yeah, like after the Hawaiian missile crisis. Like,
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, they're coming to get me. I talked about porn.
You know, it is illegal in your country.
After the well,
Not yet.
they have banned like a serious section of like you can't record female orgasms in the UK for
What?
purpose of that pornography.
Yeah.
Because of
yeah.
health risks.
Yeah, they're
What?
What?
But
Yes,
yeah.
it's true.
you know.
I swear it was like they were coming up with this bill that was like, okay, we need to ban things that are like
Give me
dangerous.
earthquakes. I
You're
want
not
my.
allowed to like have autoerotic asphyxiation. And there's one weird conservative old dude at the back who's like, yeah, and how about that fake female coming thing? Ban that too. And we're like, "All right, whatever you say.
We gotta make George happy. He's gonna vote with us next time.
It's just
Oh
so
my
weird.
God.
Anyway, on that glorious note, I'm gonna go and go on a date, so I will leave you to it. With Addaway, in fact. Little do you know, Nora. All right. See you all later. It's been a pleasure.
Later.
Enjoy the rest of the stream. I hope it goes well.
Have fun.
Oh,
Bye,
Cristo
Cristo.
ignored you, Zeph? I'm sorry about that. He
I'm
is kind of a dick. You should probably never watch him again. And just
Overlord
watch me.
Nuclear said hi in my chat, and I haven't said hi back, and I'm like here. sometimes I look at the chat and being like, at least I could.
You're like, I could say hi. But
I could say hi. I still haven't said hi. But
Scam stuff. Right.
And do you guys all stream on Twitch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have the issue of some names just show up in bright green and you can't read them?
I do sometimes get some that are unreadable. The colors.
So get out of here.
Yeah, it's the colors. I mean the colors. It's just like sometimes. But of course
sometimes.
it's not the person's fault, because even in their screen maybe it shows up as red or something, because if they haven't set the color, it doesn't
Is your color like tuned?
Mine is, yes.
Yeah. I've always wanted to get one of those tuner things because, like, I don't know how to properly tune it myself. Cristo said he was going on a date. He just booted up Hearts of Iron 4. That bastard. He left us.
He's probably doing some work.
I don't know.
He's gonna take a screenshot for a video or something.
Yeah.
His
playtime on like Hoi and EU4 must be like getting so inflated because he has it open like literally all day, every day during the working week.
So, Zeph, you were watching Cristo's stream. Did he get the sea moth?
Zeph?
He's due to my chat.
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Just be muting myself in Discord when
No,
I do
it's
that.
fine. It's fine. I didn't know. Addaway is called Zeph. Is that what?
Yeah, my
First
name's
boy
Zeph.
to the sea moth. That's
So,
me.
Do you guys know?
I did get it, but I died
did?
and I crashed. So I did get it, but then I crashed.
Oh.
So now I don't have it.
Well, you know what? You beat me.
I can't find copper. I have no idea where.
Can't find copy. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. It's everywhere and nowhere. at the same time.
Also sulfur. I
don't have
have
any
no
mods.
idea.
Sulfur is from the little blow-up guys that are in caves. They come at you, they blow up, and then you go back to the pod that they came out of. And
Okay, so I also found out that apparently the little limestone outcrops don't always drop the same thing.
yeah, they change.
I
It's kind of randomized.
I thought it was titanium, and I just found
No.
copper.
Yeah.
Oh, this game is not confusing at
Right.
all.
Is it like No, but nearly. Still annoying because I was just getting used to when my pod had landed in the first time, and now it's in a different place, and I'm
Oh, yeah, you have to go
disorientated
all-
again. I don't know where I've got to go. Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, of course I got the sea glider right, not the sea moth.
I don't remember
I got them mixed up.
I found the sulfur.
where I need to go next.
Thank you for the tips.
I kind of need blueprints for base building. but
Uh-huh.
I don't remember where any of that junk is. Ooh, is that a vending machine? Oh yeah, by the way, I already won the game. Because I got the bar table blueprint, so get wrecked. I'm having a party, and you guys aren't invited.
Wait a minute. Oh yeah.
Party of one.
I thought all of a sudden I thought we were talking in real life, and I'm like, what? No, I want one. I want a party.
Ah, swivel chair. Get in.
Ooh, nice. I don't think I've seen that one yet.
In the game?
You're not a mod for Addaway? Oh, that's too bad.
So, going back to that question about the Steam thing and how that changed, or Steam is changing. Do you guys, what do you guys feel about GOG.com?
I really
sell some
like
good
GOG.
games.
My only problem is that I've spent so much money on Steam that like I have to go to Steam a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is crushing depth. Whoops. Let's go up.
Crushing
Oh
that.
fuck. I'm in a cave.
Addaway, I didn't catch what you said.
Oh, I just said it's GOG that they sell some good games. I don't really have much of an opinion on them beyond that.
Yeah, because
I mean, look, the DRM policy on them is pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, because you can just reinstall it like as many times as you want.
Yeah.
On different machines.
There's
it's
almost
good.
no DRM.
Yeah, you just download the. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I say this because since I never really had a very strong opinion, and I still don't. It's just I thought it was something we could talk about. I have this one particular viewer on YouTube that every time they there's a chance to talk about it, they're like, oh yeah, it's just GOG sucks and all that. Not
Really?
GOG, sorry, Steam sucks.
Oh. Yeah.
And I never really had a very strong opinion about that because I didn't really see the difference. I think that DRM is a cool thing to have for GOG, but what I think the most important aspect for me, I think long term for GOG, is just the fact that you can indeed back up your games. I guess that comes from the DRM thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is very much a part of it.
Because it worries me, what is going to happen in 20, 30 years if Steam goes down.
Worries me that somebody is going to get into my account and get me banned.
Oh yeah.
Because I probably have about $1,000 worth of games. I've spent about $1,000 in games over the 10 years or whatever, and it would really suck to just lose my library. And God knows Valve isn't going to do anything about it. They're going to tell me to pound sand if I say I got hacked and they.
Oh yeah, they're not going to care.
Played Counter-Strike and got me banned from Steam or something.
Yeah. That's something I don't know about the bans, because I never been banned by anything important. But it's like on YouTube. If you get banned on YouTube for, I don't know, spamming comments or something like that, or even just being rude or for false reporting. If you get banned on YouTube, you lose your email.
Yeah.
You lose your YouTube as well, but you lose your email, and if your work based on there or something like that, it's just I don't know. But what I was what I was talking about more was in sort of the preservation aspect of it, and so it was. Oh. It's I don't know. It's these days, if you want to play certain old games, it's barely possible at all, especially because of the consoles and all that. But of course, modern games don't have that as much of a problem. But in 30 years, are we really gonna have access to World of Warcraft is probably the hardest one to access, but even Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because of all the DRM and all that.
Well, I mean, yeah. Here's the thing: so long as Blizzard doesn't want to produce World of Warcraft, there are already emulators.
They're already what?
There are already emulators.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
There was the whole classic debacle. MMOs used to be the one thing that you can't bring back, but with the the Star Wars Galaxies emulator project and WoW Classic emulator project, it's kind of amazing. What the real threat is these days is if somebody if the last copy gets deleted or lost, Yeah.
And there are games like that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's I also think that the perspective we have towards art, just in general, and of course, I say that regards to games because I'm thinking as well about movies and TV series and all that. We have the lost Doctor Who episodes and all that, but these days, I'm sure there are TV series that are being produced that they are not even being backed up at all.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Absolutely
not. Right.
It's
you okay, Addaway? You need help?
No, I'm just trying to get stuff. I mean, I seem to have landed in a really weird place where I'm right on the edge of the shallows, near a underwater geyser type vent I've never seen before. It's weird.
You said geezer.
Geezer or geyser?
You meant an old man.
Yeah.
I was very confused, but I get it. Geyser.
I don't know. Is it geyser or geyser? I don't know.
I say geyser because then it's not confusing.
I say geyser as well, but my language also is geyser.
Oh no.
We do have
drown.
We do have some words that are not said at all, like they are in English, and we have fewer words than the Brazilians do. So for those who don't know, I'm Portuguese, and I live in Portugal, and we speak Portuguese here.
It's dripping in my sea moth.
And sometimes it's just stupid things, like people don't know how to pronounce it, like apple, and they say apple. But that's a little bit. That's a little bit like the people who think that apps are just an abbreviation, like APP.
Yeah. I've always seen that.
That's more common in non-native English lands.
Sure. I could see that, because if you don't know the word application, familiar with it enough to like remember.
Yeah, and especially because there are printed things that just either capitalize it or even add the.
Yeah. Marketing materials have been bad for that.
Yeah, at least it's in not Comic Sans as much so. Oh, computer chip.
Okay, I got a question. If you order a toasted sandwich, how do you eat it?
Toasted?
Yeah. Like the bread is toasted on the outside.
Yeah.
Wait, say that again?
So say you order a chicken club sandwich. It's toasted on the outside. How do you eat it?
With your hands.
No, but like, okay. Do you not have a problem where by eating the sandwich, your mouth gets completely destroyed, like you had rubbed sandpaper all throughout it?
Oh, yes. No, you just eat it carefully, I guess. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't really have toasted sandwiches very much. I normally just have regular ones.
I like
if I have toast, I just have like...
I like toasted sandwiches.
I like toasted sandwiches, but I would like to petition for everybody to put the toasted side on the inside of the sandwich. So that I can eat them and not have, a completely destroyed mouth at the end.
My problem is usually with the ceiling of my mouth. Is that the word?
Yes.
Yeah.
The ceiling. Or the roof.
Or the roof. Okay. Yeah, it just gets all scratched up. But it's not really scratched up. It's just sort of, I don't know. I don't like it.
There's spooky music, and I don't know why. It's scaring me.
Are you sure it's spooky?
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's
and not just channel.
No, it's spooky. It was like.
Alright, I have that finally.
I don't have issues with chips.
Oh, chips also give me that. Actually, chips have a... Yeah, because they...
Wait, when you say chips, what do you mean?
Potato chips.
Like potato fried
out of a bag?
Yeah.
Or like...
Yeah, out of a bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I want chips. Dang it. But yeah, I don't have a problem with that, but I do like the corners of my mouth sometimes because of the salt. They get really...
Yes, the salt can be a little much.
Yeah.
I can totally see that. I just love salt, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's very bad for your tension. Or is it tension? Yeah, blood pressure. That's
blood pressure. Yes.
Yeah.
It is bad for your blood pressure, but also essential for properly functioning brains.
Oh yeah, it helps the brain. But
I mean, all nerves, but the brain is the more specific, important one.
But unlike not taking and not having breakfast, salt is damaging in high quantities.
Oh, and just rammed myself with the sea moth. It took like half my health.
The sea moth is that one that's like personal.
Yeah, it's like a little personal sub.
Yeah, I need
got
that.
the bubble front.
I have no idea where that would be. Or what?
You have to scan it.
I have to make it. Yeah. Oh, I have to scan it. Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, you got to find pieces out in the wild, scan them, and then you can build it.
So you have one?
Out of water? This is bad.
I'm still trying to find copper. Speaking of which... Oh, gold. I don't need gold. So this is the sort of game where you just... Oh, silver. This maybe I do need this. It's the sort of game where you... Oh! There's a thing trying to kill me. Where you just drop some stuff because you don't, like... Imagine you're mining for copper and you find copper, find titanium instead.
As soon as I'm out of the aggressive area.
You just drop it?
Oh, sorry, I wasn't muted for that last one.
No problem. So basically, it's just, is it just meant to be dropped, stuff that you don't need? Because you can go back.
Yeah, you can also build the little lock boxes, but they're really annoying. I hate them very much.
Yeah, the inventory space in this game. It's better than it used to be, though, isn't it? Because it used to be that you had to have the tanks on your inventory and all that.
I mean, you'd still have the tank. No, the tank isn't... I don't think it was ever in your inventory. Maybe, like, very early builds.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't remember that ever being a problem. There was always equipment slots when I played.
I need water. I need water.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna die from it very soon if I don't.
That's why I pray in freedom. Freedom. I think it is freedom. I don't know the name exactly.
Yeah, it's freedom.
Yeah.
Wait, what's Tweedom? Freedom?
Freedom, the mode that Colonel's playing.
Oh yeah.
Another thing.
Baby mode.
Another thing regarding the preservation of games, and this I watched this week. I watched a video about. I don't remember the channel, but I watched a video about the evolution of the rendering of video games and how they used to be.
Oh, okay. Very interesting.
The first wireframes and like.
I'm sure it was prompted because of all the ray tracing that's going on.
Yes, exactly, and it was precisely about the ray tracing being the future. It wasn't a very hopeful video, being like, "Oh, just buy the new graphics cards," because
yeah,
it was a very important video, I think. But I feel that if we are headed to a future where graphics are all going to be ray traced, just completely, not hybrid, not without rasterization. If we're going there, it might be possible that we just are not going to be able to come back and play these games, because this is very.
This man is screaming because he can't. He's thirsty. It's horrible.
Your character?
Yeah, because I ran out of water.
I don't have to deal with that.
But yes, about the fully ray tracing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Where were you? I missed the last little.
Yeah,
bit
so basically,
was...
if we imagine in 10, 20 years we have graphics cards that are only ray traced, right? Like everything, rasterization needs to be done on software side, like CPU or just traditional emulation, without what we have today, which is our graphics cards that are custom made to do rasterization, which is the sort of rendering that we have.
I have absolutely no idea what these words mean. What you're saying.
So basically, there's thank you for saying that. So basically, there's two things that we see in graphics that are normally called 2D and 3D. But that's actually not the correct names, because it's all 2D for one. But it's just a simplification of what it actually is. So when you're drawing pixels on a plane, which is what we see as 2D, you just have a grid and you put the pixels in there. That's a very light workload from a hardware standpoint. So basically your graphics card is not going to have to think too much outside of what is being shown in the screen, right? But if you still have
not a lot of calculations happening.
Yeah. What happens with the 3D, and what 3D actually is called rasterization. And that's what I was referring to, which is a fundamentally different thing from ray tracing. Rasterization, right. What happens is the graphics card is calculating a 3D object and then putting it onto a flat plane. So it calculates outside of the screen, so like in itself, it calculates the 3D object, and then it does another calculation to see what kind of pixels we would see on a 2D screen with the pixels in the grid.
Yeah.
So it has to do that sort of geometric calculation and all that sort of stuff. And there's multiple techniques, and so different engines work differently, but it's still the same premise of imagine you have a cube, and you're only seeing certain parts of it, and in different perspectives and all that sort of stuff. And that sort of workload for a graphics card, graphics cards are very optimized for that. So a CPU, if you have a 3D game running on a CPU without a graphics card, usually it runs very bad because the CPU is not optimized for that kind of calculations. What ray tracing is doing now with the new NVIDIA cards is that it's calculating the pixels in a different manner. It's doing sort of from the camera, from you're playing a game, right? And from the camera that you're playing towards the objects, it's doing traces. It's doing rays coming out of your camera and calculating what color, what pixel it's gonna show there. And that sort of calculation
it effectively does the reverse of real life, where real life shoots light out of a source and then into your eyeball. This shoots from your eyeball out back to the light source. Yeah,
it goes and gets the relevant rays that would normally enter your eyeball.
Oh yeah.
So but it's still doing that all sort of abstractly, right? All those traces are done in a sort of off screen, because what it's really showing you is just the representation of the results of all the calculations it's doing, right? Like imagine there's a reflection it's not rendering the object. It's not, you know, it's not showing you the object. It's just showing you the reflection of the object. But the graphics card needs to know that the object is there and needs to calculate the positions and all that sort of stuff. So that's really, really intensive for modern day graphics cards.
Yes.
But with different types of like graphics cards, effectively, it can be a lot easier. And that's what the new generation of graphics cards is doing, which is... Yeah, it's just basically optimizing and making hardware for that. If we're ever going to go into a future where everything is ray traced, then the graphics cards don't need the rasterization capabilities. So what will happen to the games that today have rasterization? The normal 3D that we call, you know?
Well, I mean, with like APUs and stuff like that, I wouldn't imagine those would go away. And I can't imagine that they're going to make a ray tracing APU. So I could definitely see, you know, CPUs getting fast enough that they can rasterize games that we see today in, I don't know, 10 years, something like that.
Yeah, that's a good point,
actually. It wouldn't be amazing,
yeah,
but it would probably work.
Yeah, because like an APU, even like if you buy the nice APUs, you can play games, AAA games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question from my chat. So what kind of games use the two different methods?
There's games, yeah, like for example, this game that we're playing right now probably renders the interface. Oh, or you mean ray traced and rasterizing, or do you mean 2D?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this is all rasterization.
Yeah.
There are a couple examples of games that use ray tracing, but also majorly use rasterization. I think the new Tomb Raider is one, and there was a list. I can't remember the list, though.
Yeah, it's like 10 games or something.
Yeah.
There's not a lot yet.
But the technology is so early that, like, realistically, you're going to get nicer looking stuff out of it, but it's probably going to be worse performance.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. There's still ray tracing done in certain contexts, though. Like, for example, certain AI uses ray tracing for telling whether, like, you're visible. Sure. But it's only like 2 or 3 rays. You don't need to do that. You know, there's millions of rays being cast on a fully rendered ray traced scene.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure that the entire visual effects industry is losing their minds because NVIDIA is doing consumer ray tracing now, which means that their professional products are going to get much better.
Yeah.
But
animation studios,
other than that, really, it doesn't mean much for like the average Joe.
I don't know. The price problem is also a big issue, I would say.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean that's the price for R&D, right?
Is it really? I think it's just the price that they can take out of us.
Well, I think it's the price. Like, look, ray tracing technology is nowhere near optimized. Obviously, it's very new still.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only been done in hardware for like the last 5 years or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was the first Titan that had certain capabilities. The first NVIDIA Titan.
Yeah. So I mean, really, there's a lot of research going on with that stuff. Which means that you have to pay for that somehow. And since Titans can't, you know, move the industry forward, I think they're hoping that they can get more R&D funds through Jesus, this place is big. More R&D funds through
it's a bold way to get R&D funds.
Yes, Jesus. Jesus will save them. But through the consumer market.
But the thing is, like, if you look at it, the new 2080 Ti is the price of a Titan.
It is, but also people were buying Titans like nothing.
Yeah, but like, if they're hoping to get more money, will they really get more money? Or is it just
I think that they will. I think that posing it as a consumer product and then being able to lower the price will allow them to make a lot more than just.
Yeah, I think
before. Sorry, I'm running out of oxygen, so like.
I think advertising it as a consumer product definitely will change. I think it's sort of more or less what Intel is doing with their new i9. Not that it's not the same thing, but in terms of just being able to price it higher, it's not the same thing because of course the i9 is basically an i7 that went up in price.
Honestly, the i9 isn't like expensive. Like I paid 400 and something for my 4770K 5 years ago or whatever.
Ooh, that's a lot.
I mean, that's what it went for.
Really? I bought a 4670, and I paid, I think, 250 euros.
Well, I mean, that's also, like, it's not a K, so it shouldn't have any.
No, sorry, it was a K. Sorry, I didn't.
Oh, it was a K. Okay.
Yeah, I sort of skipped that bit. Yeah, it is a K. But
yeah, no, it was for something. I remember specifically. I mean, it cost me about $1,000 to build the system, like the basic parts of the system, and then I had to get a graphics card.
Some shops are a little bit more expensive than others, so I'm not doubting you. I think the thing is, there's also the i9 is going for 600 in some shops.
Oh, is it? That's insane.
Yeah.
I think wasn't the MSRP like 480 or something like that?
I think so. Yeah. No, it's not MSRP. It's if you buy 1,000, you pay a 490 or something.
Oh, okay.
But that's for shops.
Well, I'm not buying 1,000, so yeah. I guess it's gonna be. I think I saw it like on a retailer for like 520.
Yeah, and they're already undercutting they're gaining $30 out of that, and that's if they buy 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, it is an increase of at least $100, and the performance is only really going to be seen in productivity.
Yeah. Which is it's a great processor for me. It's just I'm not saying that everybody else needs it, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that like,
there will be a lot of people who will buy it just for gaming, and they don't need that for gaming.
Oh yeah, and they absolutely don't.
Yeah. But they think they do because it is faster than the other ones. But they don't, because that if you're not bottlenecked on the CPU, it doesn't matter.
Realistically?
Oh, no, not realistically, yeah.
Realistically, though, in the future, it may be that 5 gigahertz gives it a little more longevity, so...
honestly, I think the cores are going to matter more.
I think so, too. But I also, like... damn it, maximum death. I'm not convinced that AMD is going to get the frequency levels to pair with Intel's. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be looking at the 8-core 5 gigahertz processor for, you know, maximum performance kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know, because the new node is... I mean, if we're talking AMD, sorry... they launched the first Ryzen CPUs, and the second ones, which is the one I have, they're more or less just a refresh. They're like it's a new node, it's a new production node, sort of production method. But
these thermal vents look great.
But it's not supposed to be a huge step, and it's not. It's like 10% faster. The new one or the ones that are going to be released next year, they're supposed to be a lot better, and they're also a different factory altogether. So it's not just the fabrication process; it's also the factory.
AMD is also getting. I think their graphics cards are going down to 7 nanometer. I don't know about their CPU chips.
Yeah, the CPUs as well. The CPUs are going down faster than the.
Yeah. You know, AMD very very well may get an edge very soon here. It's just as is the clock speeds are slower, which doesn't help me. You know.
Yeah.
Like a lot of cores is great, but I don't multitask to that degree.
Single core, don't you?
Hmm?
Need that single core performance, don't you, really?
Yeah, and not even that, like the 5 gigahertz I think it was like 2 or 4 cores. I can't remember. So you can have
I think it's 1 core, 5 gigahertz.
You sure about that?
Nope. I think it is.
Okay. I'll have to look into it, but I could have sworn I read something about it, and it was more than 1. So I was pretty happy with that.
They have, I think, 5.
I could have read something wrong.
I think they have 5.9 on 2, and then 5.7 on all cores. I think that's how it goes. Or I might be wrong. I think that's
9.
Yeah, I think it drops by 100 if it's 2 cores.
I thought it boosts to 5. Are you talking about like over?
Sorry.
The Intel i9 boosts to 5 gigahertz.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You said 5.9.
Sorry, I meant 4.9. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not that strong yet.
Regardless, I also have a liquid cooled, you know, reservoir system, like a what do you call them?
The
custom loop.
Custom loop, yeah.
Yeah. So I also plan on overclocking, which may get me multiple cores at higher clock speeds, but that's also very situational to me. You know.
Yeah.
Chat. If I delete this habitat, do I lose all the resources that are inside it, or can I get them back? Because I've locked myself out the habitat.
I hate that you are so
advanced. I can't make a hatch. I haven't got any quartz because it's inside. Yes, you lose them. Oh, brilliant. So I've got to go and find some more quartz to make a new hatch.
Computer chip wiring kit battery. What's in the computer chip?
Where can I find some?
Gold, copper.
It's actually quite complex to make the computer chips that I found.
Yeah, the gold is the hard bit. I think I have everything. I can make a habitat. With it. I was mostly just screwing around looking for blueprints and dying.
I am just screwing around without the blueprints. And the dying, to be fair. But then again, I don't need to eat.
Have you built yourself the little sea scooter thing?
No, I'm still doing. I'm doing building like a platform and then some. I'm gonna do something else.
Just roam around with your scanner and look for little parts to scan.
I know, I know.
Yeah.
But I need to.
And then you'll be able to go.
I need to go up. Keep going up on the surface, and it's sort of not really what I want to do.
Sure.
Once I get this bit done, I'll make up my sea glide. I've got it now, haven't I? What am I doing?
One thing.
To be going way quick.
Glide, that's it.
One thing that's really exciting though with the new technology that's coming out, not so much graphics cards unfortunately, but at least CPUs, is that while the high end is very expensive, if you're on a budget, you can buy just really powerful machines for very little, because the lower, like for AMD, the 2600, not the 2600, sorry, the 2600 is like $200, and it's like 6 cores, 4 threads. Sorry, 6 cores, 12 threads. But like the 2200G, that's $80 for a CPU with a graphics card in it. That'll play basically everything, not on maximum settings, of course, at all. But
yeah, but it'll play it decently.
Yeah, for $250, you have a computer.
Yeah. I mean, how can you really complain?
Yeah, I think it is cheaper than ever on the low end, which is something that I fortunately don't need to worry about. But yeah, I think it's exciting in that regard.
No, I mean, it's great. Here's the thing. It doesn't affect me directly, but indirectly that means that more people can play video games on PC, which means that more people will push for more games on PC, basically.
Yeah.
So things like Red Dead don't come out on consoles first for 4 years or whatever, and then come out on PC later.
Yeah.
I hate Rockstar. I hate them so much. I love them, but I hate them.
They have a terrible relationship with the PC world, to be honest. Ever since.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're a very scummy company. Everything that comes out of them, rumors and otherwise, just shows them as like dirtbags. But it is what it is.
Yeah. I've been meaning like I really wish I played GTA 4 with the expansions, and I enjoyed them. And I've been playing GTA since GTA 1, really. But I haven't played GTA 5 yet. And my problem with it is just because they're... Well, that's actually another result of the microtransactions now that I think about it. Cristo is gone, really? But yeah, because like you never get discounts on GTA 5.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
And that's because
the best discount was like $15.
No, I think it sometimes comes down to $30.
Was it? Cool. Okay. I gave up. Like after like 2 years being on PC and no discounts, I was just like, whatever, I'm not playing this game again.
No, that's basically where I'm at. Yeah. But that's because of microtransactions. That's because GTA 5 is the most profitable piece of entertainment ever. Absolutely. Not just in gaming, ever. Yeah. And they just don't. It's like the same happens with, to a lesser extent still, but the same happens with Overwatch. The same was gonna happen with, or I don't know if it still happens with player-unknown battlegrounds, because they also have a similar model.
Yeah.
And it's just games where you have to pay up front to then pay for microtransactions. Yeah. And it's, so that's a definite result of that, I feel.
Yeah. I've got another question from my chat, which I don't understand, so I'm just going to read it verbatim. Okay. Does the number of the little golden wire parts on the buses determine the amount of RAM a system has? For example, 232 equals 4 GB, 233 equals 8 GB, 234 equals 16 GB, etc.
No, it's about throughput, not maximum capacity. Maximum capacity is kind of limited. What is it? The front side bus? I can't remember.
No. It's the motherboard chipset. It's
the motherboard chips itself.
It's kind of complicated because the CPU has a capacity for a lot more than the motherboard itself. But some CPUs don't. Some CPUs are limited. Like for example, if you go for an Intel, I think the new Intels, like the 8700K, I think it has a maximum capacity of memory, a theoretical one of like 200 and something. But there's no motherboard that supports it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm not mistaken in saying this. I might be mistaken. So
I think you're right.
Because the thing is, the same platform is used for the server-side CPUs, and the motherboards support a lot bigger, a lot more RAM. And that's not even going into the really like dual CPU setups that have a terabyte of RAM.
Wild stuff, yeah. Servers and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know what the golden rings are though, what they are meant to be.
Golden rings.
Wasn't it the question? Wasn't the question?
No. I think he was talking about the connection, like the pins on the DDR thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah, that's that's all for that. That is indeed for the front side bus. It's not front side bus because that's an old.
I don't know what they're called anymore. It doesn't. Really,
I think it's just bandwidth.
Yeah, more means more pins, more bandwidth.
Yeah,
basically. Right. That's just how it always works.
And that's why DDR5 has more pins.
Yes.
Well, will have anyway.
Here's a question you might know that I've always wanted to. What is the deal with GDDR versus DDR?
Ooh, I don't know. I know that GDDR is used in graphics cards. It's for graphical memory.
I'm throwing away my water. God damn it.
But I think it's just a different specification because GDDR5, which was the first GDDR, is an offshoot of DDR3.
Okay.
But, and this is where it's complicated, I had a graphics card that had DDR5. Not GDDR. It didn't advertise itself as GDDR. It was DDR5. And this was like 10 years ago. And GDDR5 has stayed with us for a while. But there are still graphics cards that use normal DDR3 or 4. Addaway's punching something.
He's very angry. He's doing better than all of us, and he's very angry.
Maybe that's
why.
Are you
still there, Addaway?
I am.
Oh, okay.
I just opened my window because it was a bit hot, but it's so windy outside that it blew the entire thing like way open. So I had to like.
Yeah, there's a tornado coming. Oh, wait a minute. Addaway, where are you from? Sorry.
England.
Yes. Okay.
I live in the southwest.
There's a bit of a tornado coming. Not for you though. More for down here in southern Europe.
Oh yeah.
Leslie,
you're getting a tornado.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Christmas. It's a big present for the whole of Europe. Tornado.
Yeah.
Right, what am I doing? I need to go and get some more stuff. I need to go and get more wheels.
You don't get tornadoes in California, do you?
No, I mean we've definitely gotten twisters and stuff. Like I've seen them off the coast and whatever, water spouts and twisters, but like nothing that's actually like damaging to property.
Yeah, like what's going on in Florida right now.
Oh yeah, no, they're all screwed. Look, they live in Hurricane Alley. I don't know.
Yeah.
What to tell them? It's like if an earthquake comes here and knocks my house over, like what am I? I'm in an earthquake zone. Like it's gonna happen, you know.
Yeah. It's something. Jung is asking tornadoes. What's that? And he's from Sweden.
Well, we don't. I've never got one here either, to be honest.
No.
We get really little ones.
I don't know if tornadoes form in Europe at all.
Oh, they do form. They're just not
tornadoes.
very big. There's not on the scale of the ones you get in the Americas now.
Last year,
Because like,
At least where I am.
yeah.
last year, didn't Ireland get one?
I don't know.
I think so. I don't know if it was last year or a couple of years ago. I mean, it's very rare though, because for the tornadoes to reach Northern Europe, in Southern Europe it's a little bit more common, but it's still very, very uncommon. I don't remember any. I'm 31 year old, so, and I don't remember any. So, but it's still like off the coast they will be there sometimes. But the problem is they will just die very fast because the waters are pretty cold, because they come from the Northern Ocean, or what is it called? The one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
North Atlantic.
North Atlantic. Yeah.
North Sea. I don't know.
I don't know. Jung would know because he's from Sweden.
One thing that I always find really weird though is that like where I live, I'm on the same latitude as like northern like parts of Canada, but like way warmer here than it is in Canada.
Yeah, I think that's
Well,
precisely because of the water, like the temperature.
Yes, it's the Gulf Stream.
Yeah.
It's very much water and air patterns.
It's
just funny.
Yeah,
because when explorers like first went over to the Americas, like they're like, oh yeah, it's the same latitude as
Yeah, it'll be fine.
this bit in Europe. Like, I'll be fine, and it's like really cold.
Yeah.
What was I doing? I was trying to do something, and then we got into that conversation, and I've completely forgotten.
Well, that's gonna be
radiation suit.
That's gonna be the nature of these games that we
It hasn't exploded yet on mine.
that we do.
The Aurora.
Mine
Well,
did.
that's why I would prefer to have like little party games, you know, things that are like Super Smash Bros. Or something like that. That you don't really have to think all that much. You just kind of play.
Oh, there's plenty of that. There's one. What's it called? I don't remember. It's like you control one man. And each one of us controls one man, and then you get into a position, and then comes the next one, and then climbs on top of you, and gets into another position, and makes a tower. I don't remember what it's made, what the title is, but it's
Oh yeah. The Donger game. That's
yeah,
what
I think that's
I own it.
I don't. But
Steger makes it. I can't remember the name of his game though.
It should be the Donger game is a good. Yeah, that's a good name for it.
Yes, but yeah, I have that game.
Yeah,
I'm more than happy to play that one.
While we talk about graphics cards and
yeah, exactly.
and nothing else.
and nothing, we can talk about food as well.
Yeah, graphics cards, food.
And also, do you guys use briefs or pants?
Boxers.
Yeah, boxers, briefs, same thing.
Well, briefs are all tight and stuff.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Where's my scanner?
Do you guys know that in the tights, or the pant, like the tight pants, you know, those that are small, not like our shorts. There's a little pocket of I don't know what it is. It's like tissue in the front. Do you know what that is?
Tissue? Oh,
like a
like
pocket
in the fly area?
Yeah. What is that for?
To protect your dick.
It's in the wrong
I'm not
spot.
sure, honestly.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it is. I just call it the pants pocket. I don't have. I use briefs though. But still, that's the thing that we could talk about as we played Donger.
Yeah, I don't. It's like not very common on the pants that I wear, so like I've never really thought about it, honestly.
Yeah.
Now that you bring it up, you're kind of making me wonder, though.
I have this secret technology and I don't know what it is. Okay, I need more titanium. I don't have anything over here, though.
Can I make the suit, please? Thank you.
Speaking of suit,
Can I make fins?
Star Wars. Did you guys like it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
of course.
like, what do you mean?
Because I like science fiction, but I've never watched Star Wars. Never see. Oh, I mean, I play the games, the role-playing games, I should say.
Oh yeah,
you've never watched Star Wars.
I have never watched Star Wars. Yeah.
Time.
So,
Wow.
given this
Well, that's the
situation,
thing.
given this
I
predicament,
guess he doesn't understand my name then.
You said that it was a reference though, so I understand.
Oh, okay. So you do know then.
Yeah.
I just had to tell you.
So, what I mean is, do you guys think Star Wars is a science fiction show or what they call a space opera? And what do you feel about that?
So I don't
believe
know
it's
what space opera means exactly, but I've heard it called a space opera many times.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if you could define space opera for me,
I don't
probably give you a better answer.
I can only give you my understanding. But like the thing is, somebody suggested to me that I watched. I don't know what the name was. It wasn't The Ascent. I think it might have been The Ascent. It's a TV series. And it's like in a space station and things like that. And I was looking for a science fiction show. I specifically said that I wanted to see a science fiction show, and somebody suggested to me that show in particular. And then I went and watched the first episode, and yeah, there's a lot of sci-fi things and space travel and all that sort of stuff. But honestly, the storylines are mostly focused on character development and just the normal drama.
Okay.
And
is that what a space opera is?
I think so. Like, cause I can see a show that is a lot more focused on the sci-fi aspect of it, and just exploring.
I'm gonna look this up.
Right? But you know what I mean?
Yeah. That does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's a subgenre of science fiction that emphasizes space warfare, melodramatic adventure, interplanetary battles, chivalric romance, and risk-taking, set mainly entirely in outer space. Blah blah blah.
Sounds like Star Wars to me.
Yeah, that's like exactly Star Wars.
I just died.
I mean, didn't Star Wars kind of create the genre, or were there ones before it?
Could be.
Yeah, probably. Well, if it didn't.
It says it was coined during the 1930s, though, so I guess not.
Oh wow. I guess not.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I'm reading this wrong. Never mind.
Oh, science fiction
opera
maybe.
was coined in 1930s.
Yeah.
Yes, the space operas emerged in the 1930s, though.
Okay. Yeah, because
I would guess like Buck Rogers and stuff like
that.
Santos in my chat is saying that the first 6 Star Wars films and Rogue One were great. The others suck. Strong disagree to that one, Santos.
It's the opposite of I have no idea.
I like the new Star Wars films, and I will.
See, I can tell how old Santos is.
Irritating this.
This is the thing. From that statement alone, I can give him a general age range.
Honestly, if I were gonna watch a Star Wars movie, that would be the first. I would watch the first and then decide on that based on that. But probably I would just go for the newer ones after.
Okay.
I was in the first is in episode 4. The first is in episode 1. That's it. Like.
Oh,
yeah.
You're saying episode 1?
Don't start with episode 1.
No, I'm saying episode 4.
Start with it.
Okay.
I love all the Star Wars films, but don't start with 1.
No, not the episode 1. I keep hearing people saying that the prequels are terrible, and I'm like, I'm not afraid of it.
They're great.
They're not terrible. It's just that
fun.
A lot of the focus was bad. Like there was a lot of
one of the main problems is that Lucas didn't have Carrie Fisher rewriting all of his terrible dialogue.
Yeah,
I've heard that as well. Yeah,
she did quite a bit of writing. Well, but she got scripts for the original trilogy films, and I was like, this is so dumb, and rewrote whole scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
or just took out these terrible lines of dialogue which Lucas writes.
Yeah, I mean, Lucas is he has great overarching vision, but he doesn't have the nitty-gritty writing skills.
Yeah.
I don't think he was a director. The films that he directed are worse than the ones that he did in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's very much like a producer, I guess is probably the best way to put him.
But if I wanted to get a science fiction movie or series that doesn't focus on those, lovey-dovey things or just warfare in space and things. Do you guys know anything like that?
Like Star Trek, I guess. I don't know.
Hmm.
Everything's gonna have a love story because it's more or less American TV for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's gonna have space warfare because you got spaceships, right?
Yeah. I feel like my favorite Japanese animated series is a series called Planets.
Okay. I have an idea of what you're going for now.
Regarding...
Oh, here comes the Aurora explosion.
Regarding the non-space... What? Are you talking to me? Sorry.
Nah, I was talking to myself.
No, true.
On my chat.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I kind of understand what you're...
Yeah.
It's your style.
Yeah, it's the style. I think maybe Star Trek... like from what I've heard, it sort of focuses more on the.
Star Trek would fit better, I think. Star Trek is a little more like. It's grown-ups Sesame Street in space.
Because it's like
it's all about teaching you morals and being a better person and stuff like that. But through the adventures of a spaceship it's a science exploration vessel. But you know they get in fights and stuff too.
Yeah. From what I've heard, it's more sort of episode by episode and sort of focuses on different...
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much.
So I like that. That's something I enjoy, but of course...
Excuse me? Get the fuck out of here.
Of course, I haven't watched it, so I would need to look at it and see. But going back to Planets, I really enjoyed that series. It's a Japanese animated series. Basically, the story of a crew of a... It's not a private company, but sort of it's a private crew. And they basically go around Earth. This is the year 2050 or 2050 something, and they go around Earth collecting junk, space junk. Oh, my computer. Well, you guys probably can't hear me now.
No, I can hear you.
Okay, my computer is about to crash, so I think it just crashed. Sorry, guys.
Maybe it doesn't work the best on the show because our PCs aren't good enough. I don't know.
I think I'm overheating the graphics card, to be honest.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me see. I have hardware info around here. The room is... Let me see. So I have GPU temperatures maximum 82 degrees.
I think I have enough resources now.
That's not too bad. No, I think the game really just crashed. Yeah, the game crashed. Okay. But yeah, so... because I lost you there for a second.
Yeah.
Let me see. So I'll be back with my chat in a little bit. There it is. Okay.
I was talking to my chat.
Oh.
I need to make a radiation suit. Oh, I need 5 mesh. Damn it.
They're helpful.
So basically, going back, so they go around Earth collecting junk from space, and it's all about like this simple. It's a story about the people for sure, but it's about the simple thing that they're doing, and it's not simple because it's space, and like there's issues with radiation, health issues. There's learning, like the first sort of big story arc is about learning how to navigate with the little propulsors or whatever, oxygen propulsors that space travel requires. And I really enjoyed it because it really focuses on things that are scientifically not necessarily accurate, but sort of there's issues with there's issues with that, right? I think I grew up reading Jules Verne, and he focuses that as well on his books. Like he has a book that that's all about. It's like a big helicopter, and a huge part of the book is describing how the helicopter even works.
Sure.
And it's not scientifically accurate or anything. It's just that.
Yeah, he does his best to like make it sound legit.
Yeah.
Jules Verne's novels were like, they were nuts. Like the stuff that got built in them. Like, wasn't there there was a cannon that could shoot to the moon? Or something like that.
I've never read that book, but I think you're right. Yes.
Yeah.
There's one where they build a cannon that shoots to the moon. I'm pretty sure. They want to land people on the moon by firing them in a cannon to the moon. I'm pretty sure.
I think you're right. Yes.
It would be fun.
Daffy Duck is in my chat. Hi, Daffy Duck. Yeah, I don't know. It's like maybe that's why I like that sort of more hard science fiction thingy. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for stuff like that, it's very hard to recommend pretty much any Western sci-fi. Because, like, it's just not about that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Just trying to think of, like, what I could recommend.
Jung says he prefers Star Trek over Stargate over Star Trek.
Stargate's okay, yeah. Stargate is very much about, like, battling and stuff like that, though. Like
I watched like quite a lot of
First Contact
SG-1 when I was younger.
Yeah.
With Teal'c, best character. What am I doing? I was building a wiring kit.
I did watch Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar is a great one. Yes, I was trying to remember the.
Oh, the name. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to remember the name because I don't know, and it's bad. It's early, and it was blanking. But yeah, Battlestar Galactica is very much character drama and like
for sure
staying afloat.
Yeah.
Just trying to think if there's anything else like that. I feel like there are, but I'm just blanking on them.
Yeah, maybe indie movies and things about that might.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure you could find.
There's one movie that I really enjoyed. I'm being hunted by these two, like, hammer-nosed monsters that want to kill me. There's this movie called Moon. Did you guys see it?
No.
Moon, yes, I actually really love that movie.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's sort of a thriller. It's sort of a mystery thing, but it's also it's got a lot to do with speculative sci-fi of what the future is going to be. And it's a short movie. It's like an hour and a half. Basically takes place in a mining station on the moon. And I like that a lot. I mean, it was cool because of the story itself rather than the sci-fi.
Yeah.
But it is an indie movie. It's a small movie, all things considered. It's nothing
Was
like
it an indie movie? I don't know.
Well, I got the impression. So I mean, there's only one actor. There's only one place where he is.
Oh, I need cords. Damn it.
And instead of watching Saw, I decided to watch Moon.
Much better movie.
Everybody told me to watch Saw.
And he gets shot out of a cannon at the end.
Does he? I don't remember. Doesn't he go on a ship?
I forget exactly what happens, but it was something similar to that.
It's a very weird movie in the ending, at least in the way it's presented with all the radio thing and all that. Another movie that I really like that has a little bit of science fiction is District 9. It's a number.
Yeah, 9.
District 9. Yeah. Of course, it's with aliens and it's different, but
is that the apartheid film?
Yeah, it's in South Africa. Yeah.
It is like literally in South Africa. There is literally like an apartheid thing going on.
I mean, of course, the commentary there was obvious and it's all there. But what I really enjoyed is how they managed to make all the nuances that you normally necessarily have in an alien race coming to us, the sort of difficulty of understanding, when an alien is cute and you can't tell it's cute because you just don't have not the same kind of animal, and also humanizing them even through all of that, which of course is a reach, but still it's for what the movie is trying to do, and I like that. Of course, that's the reason why I wanted to watch. Never ended up watching it, but that's because of reviews. That movie with I don't remember her name. It's like the crabs. Some huge squid aliens that come to Earth and speak in ink.
Speaking ink.
Yes, this is basically what it is.
It's wild. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, I think it's famous. You probably did. I'm just not explaining it. I think it's like the Encounter, or the. I don't remember. I mean,
don't assume that I've ever heard of or seen a movie because I'm terrible with movies.
You've watched Star Wars. You know everything.
Well, yeah, I watched Star Wars when I was a kid. I don't know everything. Look, I'm not a big movie guy.
Daffy Duck says, Colonel, look at your chat.
I am looking at my chat. I'm trying to... Yeah, I'm messing around. Don't worry, Daffy Duck. Thank you for the tip, though. He's telling me how to avoid the fish that are coming to eat me.
Oh, right.
Yeah, thank you, Daffy Duck. So the movie is basically... There's this egg-shaped space station or spaceship, alien spaceship that comes to Earth.
Okay, yeah.
And... sorry, I was trying to get rid of
show up and they start speaking in ink.
No, yeah. So basically, they go into the space station, into the ship, and try to speak with the aliens. And they have a translator.
Thanks for the follow, Gandalf.
They have a translator or someone that is good with languages to try and figure out how to speak with the aliens. And that's basically all the storyline. Not all the storyline, but that's the premise of it.
It's, yeah, the focus.
Yeah, and I thought that was going to be really cool because that's something that I find to be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
We think of ourselves in the way that our language permits us to think of ourselves, not so much in the words, but like we have a voice, right? But an alien that lives, or even us, if we lived in a place without oxygen, we wouldn't have a voice because sound is necessarily, you know, either requires water or air or medium anyway. We have an appearance, right? We look at our skin color and we see a specific color, but if an alien sees in infrared, not even an alien, like a mosquito doesn't see us in the same color. And that's not even...
Is that true?
Yeah, because they have infrared eyes or something. Because the spectrum...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the spectrum is completely... It's different.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Like, we think of our planet as the blue planet, but in what spectrum? Our vision is very limited in regards to the colors we can see. And that's not even getting into that whole mind screwery of, like, is my red the same as your red in our...
yeah.
That's not even getting there. That's an issue.
The impossible question kind of thing.
Yeah, because that's an issue, but that's not even getting there. It's talking about specifically different eyes that can see more colors. We can see infrareds, we can see ultraviolets, but those are actual colors. Those are we can't see radio waves, but radio waves are light. And can you imagine that? Can you imagine just having an alien that can see radio waves and what does he think of us? All that, you know? And that's something that I really like to think about. And then that movie just turned out to be a flop in the reviews, and I'm like, I'm probably not gonna watch it.
Great premise, poor execution.
Yeah, it's like, what was I did watch that one. What was it called? With Sandra Bullock and George Clooney.
I don't know. I hear those two names together a lot.
It's not Interstellar.
They are in a lot of films together.
Yeah, it's not Interstellar. Interstellar I did watch and I liked it.
Oh, I know. It's Gravity, isn't it?
Gravity, that's the one. Yeah, I watched that and I'm like...
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I never saw that one because I heard that it was pretty cringy.
It is.
I remember thinking it was alright, but I only saw it once. Sure. I remember thinking it was quite good. Like, it conveyed the sense of, like, claustrophobia that you'd get with being in space, I thought.
That's, yeah.
I saw it, like, once, about almost 5 years ago now.
For the character drama, or was it like, because here's the thing, like, I was absolutely like a physicsy astronomy nerd earlier in my life, and like, if things are just like blatantly wrong, it's just gonna bother me.
Oh yeah, it starts off immediately wrong. Like, Sandra Bullock is not an astronaut and doesn't want to go to space. 20 minutes into the movie, she's in space. Like, immediately there. She has problems with space fright, or whatever it's called.
Sure.
Which is what Addaway is talking about. Like, in Planets that I mentioned before, there's like a whole storyline about an experienced astronaut having issues with that and having a training. Like, there's a big storyline there where they are going to Jupiter in a new space station. Multi-dimensional.
Sorry, I'm talking with my girlfriend. She's coming up with TV shows for you, but cool. I don't know if they fit. Fringe might, but it's not so much spacey. It's more about.
I like stuff that's just weird. I might check.
It is a very weird show, especially for being like a mainline American show. but I wouldn't call it like indie weird or anything like that.
I see. Jung is telling me on chat it's called astrophobia. It might be.
Astrophobia.
I don't know.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You're an astronaut, so you're afraid of.
Yeah, that sounds like
astronauts go into space. Astrophobes stay away.
Astro means the stars and the planets, so it kind of sounds like being afraid of the planets and the stars, but probably not. But yeah, so basically, I was already familiar with that subject because it takes in my favorite anime series. It talks about that. So my problem with Gravity was how just meh, sort of bleh it is in terms of the storyline. It's like spoiler alert. May I?
Yeah,
which
I've
series?
seen it.
Yes, Gravity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So basically, what happens is George Clooney and Sandra Bullock are both in space. George Clooney dies. Sandra Bullock is lost in space in a completely unrealistic manner because the whole gravity premise, they don't know what gravity is. Whoever wrote that movie, but then she gets herself locked into a space station. The ghost of George Clooney shows up. She figures out how to activate the space thingy that she's in, and she comes to Earth. And that's the movie. So you can see my problem.
Yeah, it sounds a little boring.
Yes. And then my problem with the gravity thing and the realism of it is just, like, in space, things are so distant from each other. And it's just, the distances are so enormous. You can't see anything, for one. Like, something is more than 5 kilometers away, you will not be able to see it.
Something that's 2 kilometers away, you won't see a lot of times. It really just depends on how light it's going on, you know?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm being conservative here with the 5 kilometers. It's And then they put, like, 2 space stations, or 2 spacecrafts anyway, very close to each other. Like, the differentials in speed being less than 1,000 kilometers an hour in the difference, which wouldn't be the case because there's different orbits and different intro thing. Like, what's the...
Yeah.
It's like... Yeah. Even in the same orbit,
unless they were trying to dock the two, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. So it's just they ignore completely all that for the sake of the storyline, and the storyline is the ghost of George Clooney showing up and saving the day.
Storage? Is there storage on the Seamoth? Am I thinking of another vehicle?
I do not know.
Daffy Duck.
I could have sworn there was, but maybe I'm thinking of the prawn suit.
With the bits. Bruno, welcome to chat. Thank you, Daffy Duck. Thank you very much. And I was gonna say another movie. Oh yeah, The Martian. I really liked it.
Yeah, The Martian was great.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
No spoilers.
You should definitely see it.
Daffy Duck is asking what happened to my stuff when I die. I get it all back. Actually, that's the best way to heal. Is just die.
He's in baby mode, so like.
Yeah.
I mean, can you even die from starvation?
No, there's no food meter or health, or there's a health meter. There's no drink meter. And I'm doing so badly, by the way. It's fine.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Sorry, we were talking about Martian. Addaway, you were saying?
No, I haven't seen it, so I will try and see it at some point.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely worth it.
Yeah.
We could do for one of these streams. We could all watch a certain film beforehand.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And talk about it for a bit on the stream.
Yeah.
I mean, alternatively, we could all watch a movie at the same time.
That has a name. I think that has a name.
Maybe.
So I think I've seen something like that.
Rift Track or something like that.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I've never seen any, but yeah, because like you can then.
We could absolutely like watch a movie all at the same time, and I don't know. I'm gonna buy a 40.
You're gonna buy a 40? Oh,
yeah.
What is a 40?
I don't know if that's a familiar term for Europeans. It's a 40-ounce malt liquor beverage.
Oh. 40.
I mean, we mainly use milliliters now, even in Britain.
I don't know what ounces are.
Imperial measurements are.
I want to say a little less than a 6-pack worth of beer.
Huh. Okay. So it's like 2 liters.
It's a very large bottle.
Yeah.
Well, 16 fluid ounces is half a liter. Pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like a liter and a half of beer. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fun. We could do that.
The kicker is that Why is this one bigger than the other one?
That's what she said.
What was I looking for? I was looking for something. I forgot what it was.
Oh no, it's
Daffy
not.
Duck is saying, America, we're different because we can be.
Yeah. Get wrecked.
It's
We're better
true.
because we do things different.
No, we're better because we do things differently. Well, actually, we don't. It's, since everybody else does the same we do. That's sort of self-defeating, though, isn't it? Like everybody does it the same as Europe. We can't use the. Yeah, right.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
everybody, like basically the whole world uses metric.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
For the metric
I'm saying that because I was gonna say, like, you're different, but so are we. But not really, because everybody does the same as we do.
Yeah, you guys created a standardized system to not be different.
Actually, I think it was. I think the standard system was made by an American. The UCI.
I thought it was the French that came up with the
I
whole
thought it was the
metric.
French as well.
No, not the metric.
Maybe.
Not the notion that that it needs to be standard.
Yeah, because we all try to do things different.
Yeah.
So, different ideas pop up.
Yeah.
And it's better these days.
It's weird in Britain now because like we seem to just use both systems of measurements, but we don't use both. It's just like for one thing we'll use metric, and then for a different thing we'll use imperial. So it's like a complete mess. Like if you're driving a car measured in miles, but your height will be in imperial, feet and inches. But like if you're pouring liquid into a bowl, it'll be in fluid ounces. No one uses ounces. Weights are all in pretty much metric nearly always. So it's just like complete mess, basically.
Yeah, the market will also change. Like,
yes,
you buy so many things from Europe, then that's gonna change.
Well, yeah.
One thing that I would absolutely wish that, like, I don't mind so much the distances and stuff like that, but Jesus Christ, if we all use the same weight system, that would make my life so much easier, especially with cooking recipes. Because every time I see you need 500 grams of, I don't know, steak, I'm just like, okay, I'm putting half a steak in there because that's all I can think of.
That's about right. I mean, the thing is, don't you have a weight scale or something?
I do have a scale. I don't use it very often because it's kind of, it's in the way.
Yeah, because like if I want grams of something, I need I need a scale, right?
Pretty much the only time I break out the scale is if I'm baking bread or something like that.
What even is 1 stone? I have absolutely no idea what a stone is in metric.
I don't know. I don't know what a stone is in anything, let alone
15 pebbles.
Gotcha. Is a pebble a thing?
I don't know. I'm just making shit up. It could be.
It wouldn't surprise me. No.
This is the funny thing about like imperial measurements. Like if someone tells me their weight's like, oh, I'm 10 stone, I don't know what that is, but I just have this weird like, I kind of know what it means. Like, yeah, I couldn't tell you like, actually how heavy that is. It's weird feeling of like, I have an idea. I know what that means. Same with miles.
But that's the same with everything.
No idea how many meters are in a mile.
That's the same with everything, though. When you think about it, like if you ask me, oh, this is 10 kilograms, and I'm like, okay, I know what that is, but I can't tell you what it is. I can tell you I can pick it up with a little bit of effort, but
I find metric to be a little bit more intuitive than imperial because it's just like
it's
what
just
is a 10 kilogram object, please?
A 10 kilogram object is, for example, a pack of 10 liters of water.
10 liters of water.
Yeah.
All right, so a liter of water is a kilogram.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it takes a little bit of effort. I'd say it's probably close to maybe 20, 30 pounds or something.
Yeah, it's 20 pounds.
But the one that gets me the most is that when you walk, one pace is pretty much a meter for an average height person.
If you're high, for tall, yeah.
No, it's about that for me, and I'm only 5'8".
Oh, you're the same as me. You get a 1 meter stride.
So like,
man.
Yeah, probably about that. But
that's
like,
good.
So that when I think I'm walking around a city or whatever, I actually prefer it to be in kilometers. I find it more intuitive. If it's like this thing is 800 meters away, rather than saying it's 0.5 miles or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So meters is fine for me, but that's only because I played football as a kid, and a yard is nearly a meter. I think it's
more or less.
Over.
Yeah,
I think it's like 3.3
3 feet to a yard. It's about the same for a meter. They're really quite similar.
Yeah. So meters is one measurement that I actually don't mind seeing. And then from the meter, I can kind of guesstimate smaller things.
10 kilograms is 22 pounds.
I also work with a lot of electronics, so like I'm used to millimeters and centimeters as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think
you should choose metric.
I think some like inches are easy for us.
I don't disagree.
Because they're, you got an inch. We in Portuguese at least, we call it a thumb. We say it's a thumb, so it's sort of the size of your thumb. That term. Yeah, but I don't think it's the same for every language. So
but the thing is, the UK, the direction of travel for the last half a century has been towards metric. Like, I think things have been changing to metric, and now that's probably not going to happen from now on because
Brexit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
Pull the guy.
I mean, who cares when there's a superior measurement system? Like the thing about the metric system is that it's based off of nature, right? Like they're universal measurements that you can, if you have the elements, you can derive that measurement millions of miles away from anything else, So like,
yeah,
I don't know. It just seems absolutely insane not to use it.
Do you know what the meter is?
The meter,
I don't know exactly, but I have an idea.
A centimeter, like a centiliter or something like that. Like,
I think
the volume.
A centiliter is 10 milliliters.
Yeah.
I don't really like the centiliter measurement though. I find it annoying.
Well, it's just, you don't need to say it. You just say it if you want to. Sort of. You just say 0.001 or 0.01.
Yeah.
Actually, a centiliter would be 0.01. The meter, I believe, is the length of the wavelength. The wavelength of like radium, or something like that.
Is it?
Yeah, it's it's something weird. But they might have changed it. What you're saying, might have been true.
Yeah, when it was explained to me, and this was 15 years ago when I was in high school or whatever. I think it was middle school actually. It was a certain volume of water was like a meter cubed. Or not a meter cubed, but like a centimeter cubed is what they showed us. I'm sure it scales up just fine.
Yeah, they keep changing.
Yeah. So like you could take water, put it into a container, see how much that is, and then you can derive all.
Because you want to hear the kicker here is that 1 kilo is not the same as 1 kilogram. And in fact, you can use two different kilograms. You can even refer to the kilo as kilogram if you want to, because the kilogram is a global reference thing. There's an actual measurements, like an object made out of things, made out of whatever element it is. And each country, there's a bunch of countries that have one. Like France has one, the US has one. And then every 20 years they join together to see how that object has changed, because objects change, like in the microscopic, just absolutely quantum level, I should say. I think it happened like last year, where like the 20 objects that exist that were made to be exactly the same, that weigh 1 kilogram each, they joined together and they made the average to define the new kilogram, the new kilo. But that's not actually a kilogram. A kilogram is 1,000 grams. And a gram is defined, which is the reference, by the way. Gram and not kilo. The gram is the reference. A gram is defined as the atomic weight of something or other, and I don't remember what it is. I think it's helium, like 1,000 and something helium atoms. So it's two references. So that's the real weirdness.
There was was it Veritasium? There was a YouTube channel that was.
That's where I learned.
Yeah, it went over my head. It still goes over my head because I don't know that much about the physics side of it all. So
yeah, I don't know either. I mean I studied humanities, so I don't.
Yeah, probably didn't help.
I was always interested in it.
I do not know much about science. My science education stopped when I was 16, so I have
that's basically mine as well. I mean, YouTube videos don't count as science education, do they?
I don't recognize.
There's some you're not gonna learn the nitty gritty. You're not gonna learn that, but you can at least get the high level concepts. So
yeah, I think so.
It's still something.
Yeah, like I really like minute physics for just quick weird.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and Veritasium is one. It's probably my favorite. Yeah, Vsauce is pretty cool, but he's more broad.
Vsauce is more like weird philosophy tangents. Too. I don't even really understand his channel.
I really like.
I'm not convinced he understands.
I really like when he just goes, "Our shadow is, I don't know, like some number bigger than we are. But how much does our shadow weigh? Let's find out."
Yeah.
And he just goes on and
he's like, "But does a shadow weigh the same on the moon?" And then he goes on to a tangent about the moon.
And that's I love that because that allows me, like, I learned from there that, for example, did you know that light has an impact on how much we weigh?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
light exerts force.
Yeah, and so like I knew that there were solar sails based on light rather than on solar winds, but I never joined the two together. And so yeah, I turn off the lights, I weigh less.
Yeah.
It's of course very little, but what?
Yeah, it's inconsequential, but
yeah.
No.
But what's more fun though, and from videos from Vsauce, do you guys know and I've had discussions about this, I think on camera as well. Do you guys know that actually I can just ask. So what weighs more, 1 kilogram of lead or 1 kilogram of cotton?
They weigh the same.
Depends on how much light you put. If you spread that cotton out,
with the same light,
make it way more.
With the same. Oh, actually, without any light. Let's take the light out.
Okay, no light. I mean, it doesn't matter. They're both a kilogram.
And this is where the fun starts.
Unless you're talking about air pressure.
Air pressure, yes. Air pressure changes. Buoyancy changes the weight of something, because 1 kilogram doesn't measure the weight; it measures the mass. So you're asking the weight of something that you're given the mass to, and because the weight is affected by a bunch of other things, it might even be weightless if you're in space. So it might it might weigh the same if you're in space, 0. But we assume we were on Earth at atmospheric pressure, the lead is going to weigh more because the cotton itself is going to.
I did take it for granted that they were on Earth.
No, yeah, of course. I mean,
in the same atmospheric pressure, to be fair.
When we ask these things, we need to ask that, and that's like, I don't know when I came up with this explanation, I guess, but I was just like, hey, they've been tricking me with a trick, because when I was a kid, I was like, oh, it's the weight of the lead or something, and apparently they were wrong all along. I was right. Addaway?
Yeah.
Yes.
Science is fun.
Oh, you sort of cut out. Sorry. Yeah. That's.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. I thought you were saying something in that.
How long is this show supposed to go? I don't know what time it is for you guys.
Until 1 minute's time.
Yeah, in 1 minute we just disappear.
It's 11 a.m. for me.
Okay. Then
7 o'clock.
Young is saying.
That's it, boys.
Man, the Pacific is so far away from London.
Don't be so far away. Come on.
I mean, it could be worse. I could be in Hawaii.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Or in New Zealand. I think that's the most far away from where we are.
Is it? I think it's like somewhere in India is the exact opposite.
From you? Or from it probably is. I just want, before I say goodbye, Jung is saying the mass in space is the same as the mass in Earth. And that's actually fundamental to understanding what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you ask weight, you don't ask mass. You ask weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weight depends on the gravity.
Yeah.
Or the atmosphere.
And other things, also inertia and other things. It's a force. It's not a... Weight is just G. It's just like G-force. Acceleration is weight, effectively.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So with that geekiness, thank you for showing up.
Yeah, it was a great show, guys.
Everyone.
Even if Cristo doesn't want to play with us anymore, apparently.
What are we gonna play next week?
Whatever.
What are we gonna play? I don't know.
I would prefer something multiplayer. We've done 2 single players.
The Donger game. Let's do the Donger game.
Yeah,
we could do the Donger game.
At some point, I want to do Secret Hitler.
We can do that. Oh, that's nice. I've heard of that.
We'll need more people to do it, but
we need like tabletop sim or something to do that, right?
Yeah. Tabletop simulator, and then we should get like 6 to 8 people.
Gandalf is saying that. Gandalf is saying that Cristo is playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I would suspect he's either left it on or he's selling us.
No, he opened up Hoi 4. I can't imagine that he just left it on Assassin's Creed Odyssey after, even though he said he had to go pretty much right away after.
Yeah. Well, you might have. Gandalf is saying
everyone go and ping Cristo in his server and tell him he's traitor.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's not betray each other next week then.
Yeah, we'll see you all next week, everyone.
Bye
Oh,
bye.
no, I won't be here.
No?
Why?
I see my girlfriend every other weekend.
Oh.
Oh, okay. So we'll probably do another off show then. We won't.
Unless she lets me stream for 3 hours during our weekend together. She might do. We'll see.
Okay.
Maybe she come on stream and she can defend me in person.
Yes.
Oh, she says maybe. She says maybe I can stream, but probably no.
And I'm gonna check out Fringe to see if it is correct or not correct.
Thank you for watching, everyone, and we'll see you all very soon.
Goodbye. See you later.
It's an alt tab, so I like to get to the.